September 17th, 1920, the McKinney Lions won their first ever game under the University Interscholastic League. 86 years later, the new school in town, McKinney Boyd Broncos, are in search of their first win. Ironically, the opponent is none other than the McKinney Lions, who, by the way, are in search of their 500th win tonight. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Ron Poe Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms, John Leidy, and Jared Foyt up here in the booth. Tonight is a night about milestones. One way or the other, there will be a milestone tonight, whether it's McKinney and their 500th win or McKinney Boyd and their first.
Well, likely if you're to look at it, it's, at least on paper, the favorites, the McKinney, to get their milestone. Boyd, again, searching for that first win. A relatively new school, not a single senior on the roster. This is supposed to be where big brother beats up on little brother, but, you know, count out the smaller guy. This is what they call the trap game.
That's why they play it. Last week, McKinney Boyd got things going on offense, rushing for 248 yards, also throwing the ball 137 yards in the air. And that's got to be impressive for the Boyd Broncos, trying to move that offense along and get it going. And on defense, for the McKinney Lions, they gave up 244 yards rushing last week. Or not last week, but the last time they played against Richardson, which was the homecoming game. But that equals Boyd being able to move the football. I mean, this is not a team that should come out and just roll over for the McKinney Lions. With the new offense that Boyd has displayed with the I formation, running the football, A.J. Jones, who coincidentally came over from McKinney last year, was a Lion last year. Some of these guys have bad blood in between these two schools, and A.J. Jones wants to do nothing more than run the football right over his former teammates tonight.
Yeah, the best example of what a new McKinney High School looks like has to be what North did their first year a few years ago. Their offense was pretty good. They were able to move the ball. The problem was the defense wasn't able to carry it as much. Obviously, not to go on another game here, but the defense is looking pretty good for North. But when you look at it this way, it's not uncommon to see a new school with a good offense, but you're going to have to put some pressure on your defense to try to be able to do something.
Well, not only a rival game, a first for McKinney and McKinney Boyd, but it's also the first district game. 0-3, McKinney Boyd coming in. 2-1, the McKinney Lions coming in here. Other games in 9-4A, McKinney North knocked off the Colony last night 42-0. Frisco Centennial will play Lake Dallas tonight, and Little Elm will move over to Frisco, and there's a new rivalry as well. Little Elm, I tell you what, I played Little Elm my senior year in Howe, Class 2A, and here they are in the same district with McKinney North, and McKinney Boyd. But 9-4A kicks off tonight. Actually, last night, McKinney North in the lead, and McKinney Lions looking to come back and to get the win tonight.
Well, this is what you played all those non-district games for, to get ready for this. I've said it a lot of time last year. I've said it many times already this year. It's not what happens in the first part of the season. It depends directly on what happens in these games from here on forth. This is where it matters. Those games don't get you into the playoffs. These do. Simple as that.
Well, we have a former McKinney North Bulldog anchoring our sidelines down on the straddling the 50-yard line, actually. You're getting a great view of the crowd as they pile in here tonight. Talk about the atmosphere.
Good evening. How's everybody doing tonight? Tonight's game is, like y'all have mentioned, is pitting two McKinney teams, McKinney and McKinney Boyd. Something I've added is McKinney has traditionally had a strong defense, and McKinney Boyd showed last week that they have a strong running game. And they, like you mentioned, Monty, they gave up 200-plus yards against Richardson. So I think it's going to be a very good McKinney Boyd versus McKinney defense. The question, I think, is going to be whether McKinney Boyd's defense can stop McKinney's offense. They're not a traditionally pass-heavy offense. There is a slight breeze coming out of the south tonight. I don't think it's going to play too much into the game. It's not very 2-3 miles an hour. It is a warmer night compared to the previous couple of nights, as the weather is warming back up heading into the wintertime, as it is Texas.
All right, thanks a lot, John. And he makes a good point there that maybe even if Boyd wins the offensive game against McKinney's defense, let's say they do, I don't think that it's going to balance out enough for Boyd to win the defensive game.
Well, from what you've seen, from the first part of the season for Boyd, that's going to be a big obstacle to overcome. Not saying they can't do it. Anything can happen.
another thing going in the Boyd's and not in Boyd's favor is the fact that McKinney jumps out on top pretty early. They've scored 20 first-quarter points, and Boyd has conversely given up 26 first-quarter points, so it spells early disaster. I think that's going to be a big key for McKinney Boyd if they can actually hold McKinney through that first quarter and work their way into this game.
Well, what McKinney does, they've scored 20, like you said, in that first quarter. Meanwhile, the entire first half for the opponent, they've been able to put 22 on. So, I mean, that shows you this is a team that gets it going early. Now, if this is going to be a close game, Monty, you go back down to the fourth quarter. The Lions yet to score a fourth-quarter point. If you look back to their lone loss of the year, I mean, that played a big factor. They weren't able to just get the death knife in all of a sudden, and then they lost that game.
You know, we hate to mention some things about high school football, this being one. McKinney Boyd did lose 3 players to ineligibility. They are not on the team tonight. They are not permitted to be on the team for the next 3 weeks at least. So that going against Boyd as well. We won't give you the names because obviously those kids are paying the price right now by not being able to be here. But that's going to hurt Boyd as well. McKinney, they had none. So, hats off to the McKinney Lions for taking care of business in that area. It ought to be a wonderful night. It ought to be, like I say, one for the record books especially. We're going to be back with the Senior Spotlight and the Coaches Show coming up next on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Poe Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms and John Leidy, Jarrett Foyt. We're about to be ready for the coin toss here. Again, McKinney Boyd and McKinney, the first time these two teams have ever met. John Leidy right behind the official there, and like I said, about to have the coin toss. The referee tonight, Mike Reeves. The umpire, Andy Small. The line judge, Kevin Jackson, and the head linesman, Jim Zoda. The back judge tonight, Jim Kratz. The chain crew, Richard Murray, Dennis Cassette, and Walt Wilkinson. The captains are making their way out to midfield. Philip Sears, A.J. Jones, Jeff Fuller, and Jamel Miner for McKinney Boyd. And here is the coin toss.
Support your team by participating in this recognition program. Come on a little closer. Durham Transportation.
And I believe the official wanted to tell the players something off mic.
Well, that's a first.
You're the visitor tonight, so you're going to call in the air. We'll confirm what he called with you. In the air, Captain. It is tails, Captain. You've won the it's heads. You've won the cost. Kick, receive, defend the goal, or choose a quarter, half. Defer? Yes, okay.
Jamel Miner won the toss for McKinney Boyd. And decided to defer. Thank you very much, John Leidy, down on the sidelines. Again, McKinney Boyd won the toss. Jamel Miner called heads, chose to defer, and now McKinney will take the football here. The captains for McKinney tonight, Daniel Welch, along with Paul Wynn. Now, Paul Wynn's a story. The offensive lineman and pretty much nose guard is what he was famous for here. Out early in the season with a torn ACL, and that's someone that they really could use this time of the year on that defense. Again, McKinney Boyd Broncos won the toss. They will defer, and the McKinney Lions will receive and start first tonight.
Well, that's how it shakes down. Wait to see. This is the part on this crosstown showdown type things, although this isn't the true one.
To recap the season so far for McKinney Boyd. And here come the McKinney Lions with their gold helmets, white jerseys, blue numerals, blue pants with a gold stripe down the side. Looking tremendously sharp, but coming out of the old blue run-through helmet. I think they need an update there. And here come the McKinney Boyd Broncos on the near side. They don't have the big helmet to run through at this point, but they do at least have a sign that they come crashing through, and they make their way on the field with the blue jerseys, dark blue. Now, all the schools in McKinney have the same blue color, but they offset it with each different colors. Like McKinney Boyd will have the scarlet red. McKinney, of course, has their gold. McKinney North has the orange, but that backdrop of the same blue. Getting ready for our national anthem here. To recap, Boyd, getting back to that, they lost their first game to Prosper, 33-13. Came back at Denton and really got hammered, 62-6. Started to change things up. Went to the I formation last week, introduced that to Springtown, and played pretty decent. It was some things that you can build off of. Only lost 49-33. McKinney, on the other hand, started off their season against Sulphur Springs, won that one, lost to Saxe, and then beat Richardson at homecoming 2 weeks ago and took the week off last week. I believe we're about to be ready for the national anthem here, and we'll let you listen to that. Ladies and gentlemen, it is football time in Texas. A milestone will happen tonight. Again, McKinney will either win number 500 or Boyd will win number 1. We're going to take a quick timeout. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Just about ready for kickoff time here at Ron Post Stadium. Monty Walker and Brandon Helms. McKinney Boyd will kick off here. It will be Travis Yarborough kicking to McKinney. Back deep for the Lions will be Calvin Maxwell along with LaRon Washington. Check that. LaRon Washington back deep with Anthony Butler. They bring Maxwell and Morgan up a little bit as up men. They're obviously thinking about the pooch kick there, trying to get the ball in the hands of Maxwell and Morgan. They're two dangerous returners. And Yarborough's kick will be a squibber right at the line, and it's recovered by a McKinney line. It looked like an onside kick, but it was kicked right at the up man, and I believe falling on it was Eric Minson. I believe Minson was the one who came up with it. So McKinney will take over. Dangerous play there because Boyd could have started off in great field position to start off this football game. However, McKinney recovers, moving right to left. We'll start here. We'll give you the McKinney Lions starting offense right after this play. It'll be Daniel Brash coming near side. Over on the far side for the McKinney Lions, I believe that's Greg Miller. And a fumbled snap. Alcorn, the ball is on the turf. Alcorn somehow gets back on it on the near hash at the about the 37-yard line. So a big loss there, and that's not what McKinney wanted to start out looking like tonight.
Yeah, the Bronco defense almost had a chance to cash in early. There was pressure coming in from the quarterback, and it was coming in from the right side. And for the defense, that's Cole Eakins. Had he been able just to wrap up and take him to the ground, Boyd would have been able to pounce on it, but Zane Alcorn was able to get away from the grasp.
11-yard loss on first down brings up second down and 19 here. This is going to be a toss right side. Eddie Morgan trying to find that far corner. Cuts it back inside, big hole. 45, up to the 40, shaking a man down to the 35-yard line in Boyd territory. A first down, and just like that, you get all of those yards back that you lost, plus some.
27 yards if you want to be specific. Not a good down there for the Boyd defense. Of course, if you're Morgan, you know, that's the type of speed that he's able to bring to the table. He's able to bust a big play at any given time. He just signed with Stanford oral commitment this week, so he's got that Division 1A talent.
One man in the backfield is Calvin Maxwell. They're going to fake the hand to him. Alcorn wants to throw. He's under pressure, gets a good block, and now he throws it out to the flats and has his man LaRon Washington caught, who makes his way down to the 20-yard line. Another first down for McKinney. A nice play there. Got a great block from his offensive lineman, the center, Bake Lee, who pulled out. But check everything. There's a flag, and this one's at the very end of the play, so Brandon will have to check and see what happened there. It will be a hold against McKinney. Is that a spot foul?
I'm not sure if it was a hold or not. Looked like it might have been illegal hands to the face. But either way, it's going to be downfield, so it's going to be from the spot of the foul. So they'll actually get credit for the 15-yard gain. They're just going to take it back now from the spot of the foul. And in this case, it's now going to be, first and 8. So I'm not sure that there's a huge penalty there in terms of downage, but there's definitely a penalty from where they would have had the ball.
10:44 on the clock, first quarter. McKinney and McKinney Boyd. We're just underway, no score. McKinney has the ball, first and 8 at the McKinney Boyd 33-yard line. Alcorn tosses right. Maxwell has a big hole up the middle, spins his way out of one tackle down to the 24-yard line. Another first down for McKinney. And I tell you what, it's been all on the ground so far, basically, for McKinney, and they've been able to do what they want.
Well, there's that one pass that went for 15 before the penalty, but yeah, you're right. So far, they've got 3 rushes for 27 yards. But keep in mind, one of those rushes was a mishandled snap. So, and that lost 9 yards. So they're looking at 36 yards on the ground if you take out that snap, and that was just on 2 carries.
David Grayson comes to the near side, split out wide left. Alcorn high snap, brings it down. Looking right side, throws. He's got his man, and it's caught on that far side at the 15-yard line near another first down. And coming up with the catch will be Matt Reapin. And Reapin is a 6', 195-pound senior. Came into the game with 4 catches and 21 yards. He's at his 5th right there with 9:48 left to go in the first quarter, no score.
All of a sudden, the passing game getting in 2 for 2 early on this drive for Alcorn. 24 yards total. When he considered what he did last week, 87 yards. It's efficient passing.
Second down and 1. Will they go for the end zone here? Man in motion. And Alcorn is going to hand to Calvin Maxwell, who has the first down. That's Eddie Morgan, and he's into the end zone. It's touchdown time in Texas. A 15-yard strike for Eddie Morgan, and the McKinney Lions are on the board first, 6-0 with 9:22 left to go in the first quarter.
Well, minus a penalty and a fumble, that's about as efficient a drive as you're going to see at the high school football level. They just turned it out. A lot of big plays on there. You had a 27-yard run by Eddie Morgan, that 15-yarder there. Then Calvin Maxwell had a 9-yard run, a 15-yard pass, and the 9-yard pass. Very nice.
Low snap. Jonathan Arnold's kick is going to be low and wide left. No good. 6-0. The Lions on top early. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms. 9:22 left to go in the first quarter. McKinney on top here early. 6-0 after a 15-yard touchdown by Eddie Morgan. It took 53 yards and 6 plays to strike pay dirt. And after the missed extra point, 6-0, the Lions on top after a 15-yard touchdown by, once again, Eddie Morgan. To kick off for McKinney will be C.J. Gonzalez. The sophomore will spread out everybody wide. And that's a pretty impressive drive early for McKinney, Brandon.
I think we're going to see a lot of that. That's the big weakness of the Boyd team. What's going to be important here is how the Broncos respond, and this will be their first chance.
And the kickoff is a high, deep kick. It's going to be taken at the 2-yard line by Jeff Fuller coming up the far hash. Now brings it up towards the middle of the field. Shakes one defender but can't shake a couple of others and goes down at the 16-yard line. And that's where Boyd will take over. Let's go ahead and give you the McKinney-Boyd Broncos starting offense. Starting at the 18-yard line is McKinney Boyd moving left to right. Phillip Sears will go under center. I formation for Boyd. They're going to toss right side. That's A.J. Jones trying to find this near corner. Has a 20 and a lot of speed. 25-30 and out of bounds at the 32-yard line. So a first down run for McKinney Boyd's A.J. Jones on his first carry of the night. Here's the McKinney Lions starting defense. 9:08 left to go here in the first quarter. 6-0 McKinney on top. McKinney Boyd now has a chance to score some points for them. And here's going to be a handoff up the middle. A.J. Jones this time goes nowhere. That defensive front for McKinney was right there to make the stop. LaRon Washington at his linebacker position coming up along with some others, and Daniel Welch, the other linebacker, came up and made the stop as well. Nice play from the McKinney interior.
Got to even give credit to Jones for getting a yard out of that. He was met in the backfield, but a good running back keeps the legs moving and keeps them moving forward. Jones did that and was able to take a 1 yard loss to a 1 yard gain. And not anything spectacular, but it's small things like that that can make a big difference.
It'll be Zach Jones and A.J. Jones in the backfield. Philip Sears, the quarterback, is going to toss right side. A.J. Jones once again, and this time he is stopped in the backfield. Coming up to make the stop is Josh Lane for the McKinney Lions, the defensive end, and along with Co Estes is also right there to make the stop. It'll be 3rd down and a loss on the play, brings it back to 3rd and 10.
Well, there's that 1 yard loss I made mention of earlier, though not a lot he could do there. Just well read by the Lion defense. The linebackers and the safety saw that play from the beginning, and coming up and making the tackle for the defense is one of the cornerbacks, Calvin Maxwell.
Coming near side is Jeff Fuller on 3rd and 10. Under center is Philip Sears. He wants to throw. Looking left side. Now he's flushed out of the pocket. He's going to run. He's got the 40 and close to the first down. This is going to be very, very close depending on the spot. And I believe he's going to get a good spot. Down there on the sideline is John Lighty looking right at it. What do you think, John?
Guys, it's going to be a first down. He did get that, but it's about a half a ball across the line.
And they are moving the sticks. Great job right there, John. And that was a nice job by Philip Sears to actually see that, not stand in the pocket looking for somebody to throw to, but he actually found that there was nothing there and decided to tuck it and run.
Well, the pressure came from the outside, which meant there was nothing in the middle.
Ball at the 44, toss right side, A.J. Jones again in traffic, and now he's bumped backwards, and he's going to lose some yardage here. Another great play by that McKinney front. Josh Lane comes up to make the stop, and the loss on the play of about 1.
Well, that's the play they ran 2 plays ago that lost a yard. It looks like they were trying to go back to it. They might have saw something that they thought that they could exploit there, but the same result, a loss of a yard.
And that's the way it's been on this drive so far. This is the 7th play of the drive, but it's been 2 yards gained and 1 yard loss. It'll be 2nd down and 11 here with 6:50 left to go. 6-0, McKinney in the lead. McKinney Boyd has the ball here. Toss left side, A.J. Jones trying to escape one tackler, does, but can't escape a couple of others. The Lions will stop him just shy of midfield at the 48-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and about 8 for the Broncos.
Simple 5-yard gain there. And I think this offense is better when Jones is able to get to the outside because he can use his burst of speed to get past everyone else.
It'll be 3rd and 6. Sears was successful last 3rd down by running the football. We'll see what he does here on 3rd and 6. 6:11 left to go in the first quarter. McKinney on top, 6-0. I formation for McKinney Boyd. A.J. Jones dots it. They're going to fake the hand to him. Philip Sears wants to throw it down the field. They're looking for Fuller, and it's overthrown just over his head. Fuller is a very large individual, but he was not able to bring that one down as it was right over his head. It'll be 4th down and punt time with 5:59 left to go in the first quarter.
A lot of pressure coming from the McKinney defensive line. Not doing anything special. It's just a simple 4-man rush. But when they did that, Sears didn't have time to set his feet. He was antsy in the pocket.
So McKinney will get the ball back here. Eddie Morgan will stand at his own 15-yard line. It'll be Miller Burns back to punt this one away. Actually, that's Yarborough who punts it away, and it goes into the stand, actually almost into the stands, way out of bounds. I think he shaked it off the inside of his foot there.
That's what it looks like.
So McKinney will be in pretty good shape here, getting the ball back not too far deep in their own territory.
Not something you like to see, a 10-yard punt.
We'll have the McKinney Lions starting offense coming up in just a moment here. We promised that earlier, but kind of got caught up a little bit.
Well, it was a very efficient drive. Not a lot of chance to squeeze something in.
The ball will be at the 42-yard line for McKinney, and that's where they will take over shop with 5:53 left to go in the first quarter. McKinney Lions on top 6-0. This is going to be Zane Alcorn going under center. Is going to run the bootleg out to the left side, pitches it out to Eddie Morgan, who crosses the 50 and barrels his way down to the 45-yard line in Boyd territory. But hang on, there's a flag back at the line of scrimmage, and that looks like it's going to be a hold.
Yeah, sure enough. One of the Broncos coming on the far side was trying to give pursuit, and it's a good chance when you see that the defender is beyond the grasp of the blocker, and he can't get away, likely to be holding.
Here's your McKinney Lions starting offense. Ball at the 32-yard line. Now McKinney deep in their own territory. We'll start 1st and 20 with 5:34 left to go in the first quarter. It will be going out, split out wide right for McKinney will be Greg Miller. And David Grayson coming near side. This is going to be a handoff. Calvin Maxwell shakes one defender, shakes another, and has the 40 look out. 45, midfield. He's got some speed. 40, 35, 30. It's a foot race. 20, 15, 10. Nobody's going to catch him. It's touchdown time in Texas for the McKinney Lions once again. And you can stick that one in your end zone and put it on your scoreboard. I had to do that for a friend of mine back up in Denison. It is 12-0. McKinney on top.
Simple toss to the left side of the offensive formation. It looked like the Boyd Broncos were going to have that one defended well, but Maxwell cut it up, and all of a sudden going to the far side, and then there was a foot race beyond that, and there's not going to be a whole lot of guys who are going to be able to catch Calvin Maxwell in the defense. And then it was a simple foot race that Maxwell won. And it looks like McKinney's going for 2.
Yeah, they'll try to even up the score here. Calvin Maxwell's in the backfield, a full house backfield. And now a flag will come in and right at the line of scrimmage. It may have taken too much time there on that extra point.
Well, there's still 6 seconds on the play clock.
False start against McKinney. So will they still go for it here, or will they bring in their extra point team? We'll have to see. Right now, 12-0. The Lions on top of the Boyd Broncos after that 68-yard electrifying Calvin Maxwell run.
Well, the problem that I have with going for 2 is that it's based on the assumption that the extra point is a sure thing, and sometimes I forget how shaky the kicking situation can be for these two schools. So therefore, the 2-point conversion, if you have even a 50% success rate, is going to get you more points in the end than the extra point kicker will.
Well,
so
they're still going for it here. Full house backfield for McKinney.
Looks like the same play.
And Alcorn's going to roll out right, wants to run the option, cuts it back inside, and he's not going to be able to get it. I don't believe, unless he somehow scrambled on his knees down there, and his knees actually touched at about the 2-yard line.
Well, he reached for it, but the problem is the ball was at about the 1-yard line, but his knees were already down by the time he got it over the goal line.
12-0, McKinney Lions on top of the McKinney Boyd Broncos. 5:10 left to go first quarter. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. 5:10 left to go first quarter. Welcome back to Ron Poe Stadium. McKinney on top of McKinney Boyd here, 12-0. It was a one-play, 68-yard drive by Calvin Maxwell and the McKinney Lions, and it didn't take very long off the clock. I had written down that the clock that they took possession at 5:59, and I know there's no way.
Well, they did have that holding penalty, so a play actually ran.
That's probably, yeah, that's it.
So,
I was wondering why Calvin Maxwell is running a 49-second, 68-yard touchdown there.
Well, that would
right.
say a lot about the speed on the Boyd defense because he won a foot race.
Here's the kickoff for McKinney. It's going to be taken by an up man for McKinney Boyd, who crosses the 30, has a little seam for a second, but is popped at the 32-yard line. And now a couple of McKinney Lions really dogpile the ball carrier over there for McKinney, and coming up with the ball for McKinney Boyd, rather, will be Blake Little, who received that.
I'm not sure why they pooch kicked it there. On the previous kickoff, they belted it deep and were able to get the Broncos starting within their 20. But again, it still limits the return, not a chance. You know, if you get the return in the right hands, it could be broken loose. And the pooch kick's relatively safe when you think about it from that angle.
5:04 on the first quarter clock, 12-0. McKinney in the lead of McKinney Boyd. Toss right side, A.J. Jones has a little seam for a moment, crosses the 35 out to the 37-yard line, about a 5-yard gain there. John Leidy down on the sidelines. John, what have you got down there?
Something I've noticed just in the first quarter of tonight's game that I like that McKinney has done is after each defense and offensive possession, the coaches huddle up with the players and discuss it. While watching Boyd the past couple weeks, their coaches are more letting the kids handle it in their own and talking to them at the end of the half. Back up to y'all.
All right, thanks, Sean. Just different philosophies on different sides here.
Yeah, no one's right or wrong. It's just whatever works best for you.
2nd down and 6 for McKinney Boyd. Toss to A.J. Jones running left, and he is tripped up in the backfield. And I'm going to tell you what, Josh Lane is going to have 100 tackles by the end of this night if he keeps this up.
Well, that's 2 in a row on this series already. He made the open field tackle here on the near side. Then Boyd runs a similar play to the far side, and Lane's on that side too. I'm curious as to why they keep going back to those pitch plays. That hasn't been the better ones for Boyd. What's been working, especially the prior week, has been the off tackle plays, because then you really utilize the speed of A.J. Jones.
Clock rolling, really moving here. 3:47 here in the first quarter. 3rd down and 6. Big play early. Toss right side, A.J. Jones. He's just sprinting to the sideline. Stiff arms a man and is down after getting the first down at the 45-yard line. He stiff armed Ryan Hughes from the Lions and pushed him enough so that he could get the first down yardage.
Yeah, it looks again like the same play that they've ran on these first two, or not the same play, similar plays that they ran on the first two plays of this drive. And it's all dependent on getting the lead man blocked, because if you can do that, you're going to have a good success rate with A.J. Jones' speed getting to the outside.
1st down and 10 for McKinney Boyd, moving left to right. I formation. Philip Sears goes under center. He's going to toss left side, and this Nate Hill into the football game. And he had some speed last week and shows it here, too. Breaks a tackle. He has a first down, I believe. He's going to be very close. He crosses midfield into Lion territory at the 43-yard line. And that's going to be very close. John Leidy might have a shot at looking at that one, too.
Guys, that tackle was made right at the end marker for the first down. The referees did spot it about a yard past the marker, so it'll be a first down.
All right, thanks, John. At the 43-yard line officially in Lion territory.
According to the changes, 4th and 10. They haven't updated it yet.
It will be first down instead of 4th. As Sears will hand off up the middle, Nate Hill. That's the first time we've really seen a handoff up the middle instead of going outside.
Well, we saw one on the first drive with A.J. Jones where he got hit in the backfield and was able to turn it out for a yard. This time Nate gets hit right at the line of scrimmage. It doesn't get anything else out of it, so it'll be 2nd and 10.
2nd down and 10 here at Ron Poe Stadium. McKinney Lions in the lead here over the McKinney Boyd Broncos, 12-0. High formation for Boyd, moving left to right, inside Lion territory at the 43-yard line. Toss, right side, Nate Hill. And he escapes one defender, 40. Look out, 35, 30, makes a man miss all the way down to the 27-yard line. Move the sticks once again. First down for McKinney Boyd. And we said in the pregame show that they probably will be able to run the football. It's just, can they keep up with McKinney's offense?
And they did there. Good block by Philip Sears on the play, allowing the runner, Nate Hill, to get some breathing room. And he made a couple of nifty moves on his own to get the first down.
Moving the chains, first down. The clock has not started yet for some reason. 2:05 on the clock.
Who's out of bounds?
Oh, I didn't. Okay. That's why. This is going to be a fumbled snap, and alertly, it will be Zach Jones who jumps on the football and recovers it to save the possession for McKinney Boyd, as we're now under 2 minutes here, and that'll be a loss of about 3.
Remember how many drives last week were killed by the exchange between center and quarterback? That's, of course, Philip Sears and Rusty Walton right now starting for the Broncos. They've got to get that fixed.
2nd down and 13, 1:35 on the first quarter clock. Left to right, McKinney Boyd. Philip Sears wants to throw, drops back, flushed out. Now he's trying to run up the middle. He's caught at the 30-yard line. A flag down in the backfield. We'll check this one and see what that is.
It's going to be a holding in the backfield. Whenever it comes back from the referee on a play like that, good bet that it's going to be holding.
You know, very unfortunate for the Boyd Broncos, because they were in great position to keep driving towards that end zone and holding calls and things like that, bad snaps. You know, just what a young team does, basically.
I mean, there's no other way around it. That's what happens. Although, and if getting a wave off? Yeah. What's going on?
Well, I guess so. The ball's going to be spotted.
Oh, no, it's a declined penalty.
Okay. 3rd down and 13 for Boyd. 1:12 on the first quarter clock. I formation. Zach Jones and Nate Hill in the backfield. Phillip Sears goes under center, and everybody moves, and that's going to be a false start by Boyd.
Yeah, no question about it. Well, you scratch one penalty, and then you tack on another. Not what you need in a 3rd and 13 situation. Going back to that penalty decline, that shows that the McKinney Lions have a lot of faith in their defense, because a lot of the times you'll go ahead and take that 2nd and 23, and see what they do. But when your defense works as well as what they're doing now, you can say, hey, you guys just pin your ears back. It's 3rd and long. Go do it.
Ball will now be spotted at the 35-yard line in Lion territory, approaching the end of the first quarter, 55 seconds on the clock. Jeff Fuller comes near side. Watch out for him on 3rd and 18 here. Sears under center is going to fake the hand, wants to throw, he's under pressure. Now he scrolls out right side. He's going to try to throw it down the field, and it may be interference. It is on McKinney. He was trying to hit his wide receiver out there, Blake Little. But in traffic, the safety for McKinney, I believe that was Andy Martinick.
Yep.
Who made the contact there on Blake Little, and it was not incidental contact.
Oh, no, he mugged him. And you know what? If you're on line on defense and you're about to get beat, because if he gets beat, that's going to be a touchdown, number 1. What's going on? Oh, they're marching the 15-yard from the spot, from the original scrimmage. Okay, so they're about to do it. But if you're going to get beat, you'd rather give up a 15-yard penalty, which is an automatic first down, than give up the touchdown. You still have a fighting chance that way. And you know what? That's not a bad penalty if you're going to get beat. Now, it may be a bad penalty because you weren't doing what you needed to do on defense, but, given those two options, you'll take the 15-yarder. By the way, it looks like McKinney's being the younger team here. They've committed 3 penalties for 35 yards compared to Boyd's 1 for 5.
Jeff Fuller split out wide right for McKinney Boyd, who has the ball at the McKinney 20-yard line. This is going to be a toss left side. Nate Hill, he has the 20 and is really popped at the 16-yard line. He was stood up on that right side, and I couldn't tell exactly who came up and made that stop there.
Yeah, it's going on the far side.
Nate Hill will actually come off the field.
Well, I think it's just a substitution.
Sure.
They're rotating them in. He's fine.
A.J. Jones will now come on. It was a 3-yard gain, so 2nd down and 7 here. Clock starting, and I believe that's going to probably be the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, they're nowhere near ready to go with 4 seconds left. So
I think you got to be happy if you're the McKinney Boyd Broncos, down 12-0 here. The McKinney Lions also have to be pretty happy because they're in control of this football game at this point. 12-0 into the first quarter. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. Monty Walker and Brandon Helms. It'll be 2nd down and 7, the first play of the second quarter. McKinney Boyd will switch sides now and be moving right to left. They're going to toss right side A.J. Jones on 2nd down and 7, runs right tackle and has about 2 yards down to the 15-yard line. Ron Washington makes the stop for McKinney.
Monty, if you look at this play, you see what McKinney Lions are trying to do on defense when they run that sweep, that pitch, that toss to the outside. What they're trying to do is just prevent him from bouncing outside, so they're telling the cornerback to take the lead block on the inside shoulder. That way Jones doesn't have the edge to be able to bounce it outside.
3rd down and 4, another big play for McKinney Boyd here. I formation, this is going to be a toss left side, A.J. Jones. He's in trouble behind the backfield, and he goes down after about a 1 or 2 yard loss. On the stop for McKinney is Justin Davis, who comes in. And the senior came in with 3 tackles and add 1 right there. 11:05 left to go, second quarter. The McKinney Lions on top of the McKinney Boyd Broncos, 12-0. And again, tonight, the story of tonight is the milestone. McKinney looking for their 500th win tonight in UIL. That's 1920 through current. And McKinney Boyd obviously looking for number 1. Here's a 35-yard field goal attempt that is partially blocked, and it's going to be picked up by Martinick at the 5-yard line, and he goes down at about the 5. But Yarborough was on trying to find that 35-yard field goal, but not a chance. It was blocked by Eddie Morgan, who came up.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he didn't get high enough. There was pressure, but that's typical of what you're going to see on a field goal. Although if you're McKinney, you got to question Martinek picking it up there at the end. He actually started running backwards, trying to make something out of nothing, and now they're 95 yards away from the end zone, but it's never good when, your own end zone is right at your back. Although you got to like your chances, though, if you're on offense, because they have the ability to get big plays in large chunks, and they've proven that many times in this game. Now, if your defense, this is the best way to set the tone. That was one of the best drive, or well, you've only got two to compare, but it was one of the best drives for the Broncos. They were able to move down the field, get a few first downs via the run and the penalty.
A very quick-moving game so far. The good news for Boyd is that McKinney will take over at their own 5-yard line. Toss right side, Eddie Morgan. He's showing why that doesn't matter. Look out, 20, 25, 30. Flag down, 35. Kiss him goodbye. 50, 45, 40. Goodbye, Mr. Morgan. 10, 5. It is touchdown time in Texas, but hold everything.
It's coming back.
Look at the 13-yard line, and there is a hanky that matches their helmet.
Yeah, look at the back judge there just telling them, come on back.
That will wipe off a 95-yard touchdown.
And you know what's the more depressing part? I don't think that penalty had anything to do with Morgan's touchdown run. I think if the blocker hadn't held, that Morgan would have been able to do that anyway. That's the frustrating thing if you're McKinney. Right now, though, big, huge break, obviously, for Boyd. And now, instead of 1st and 10 at the 5, they're looking at 1st and 12 at the 2.5.
95 yards called back. And now McKinney will will start this possession. It'll be first down.
What's going on? Should be at the
initial line of scrimmage was the 5-yard line.
I mean, it wasn't downfield by that length.
Well, the ball will now be spotted at the 6-yard line. Maybe John Leidy can clear some of this up for us, John.
Yeah, guys, that holding penalty was about 10 yards behind the play. He was probably a third down the field when it happened, and everybody on the McKinney sidelines and the McKinney Lions were celebrating except for the one person who committed the foul.
Well, another celebration for McKinney as a first down toss out to the left side, and on the catch for McKinney was going to be Nick Stardy, and Stardy came into the game 4 catches, 114 yards, and add to that 10-12 left to go first quarter. Again, left to right, McKinney moving here and up 12-0, and just had a 95-yard touchdown called back.
I'm still confused. Okay, the flag was out at the 13. Even if it's 10 yards from there, you're putting the ball at the 3-yard line.
Greg Miller comes near side, man in motion. This is going to be a handoff. LaRon Washington run that tackle trap to the left side. Has a lot of room. 30. He crosses the 35-yard line before he finally goes down. That's enough to move the sticks. 9:46 left to go here in the second quarter. McKinney on top, 12-0.
Well, just talking with Jared, if you put it half the distance from the goal at the 13, you're looking at around the 7 once you do all the rounding and things like that. So that's probably what it is. We're going to look at a half the distance from the 13. Which then illustrates exactly that holding had nothing to do with the touchdown run.
1st and 10 for McKinney here. 9:36 left to go in the second quarter, and this is going to be a quarterback keeper on the left side. 45-50. Look at Zane Alcorn in McKinney Boyd territory to the 46-yard line, and Alcorn just kept it. That's just the old quarterback keeper before A.J. Jones could come up and make the stop for McKinney Boyd.
21-yard gain there. And the nice thing about that, it puts Alcorn in positive numbers again. He started off with that fumble recovery, or the fumble on the exchange that lost him 9 yards. So now he's at least up to 12 on the game, which 2 carries, 12 yards, still a good average.
1st down and 10 for McKinney, handoff. That's going to be Calvin Maxwell up the middle, big hole, 30. Look out, 25, down to the 20s. Can't escape the last tackle of Parker Bolinas, who comes up from his cornerback position to make the stop. And another big gainer. And I'm telling you, these aren't just little holes that they're sneaking through. These are massive, wide-open holes that Eddie Morgan and Calvin Maxwell are running through.
Well, 3 carries for Calvin Maxwell, 99 yards. I think that's a good illustration.
Wow. 3 for 99.
Yeah, as a team, they're already over 150, and that's only on 7 carries. And one of them was a loss of 9 yards.
And one of them that did not count was a 95-yard touchdown called back. Two receivers to either side. This is going to be Alcorn rolling out left. Wants to throw it, has his man, and is caught at the 11-yard line. Moving inside, flag down. And at the 5-yard line goes the wide receiver. So it would have been a first down for McKinney. We'll check the flag and see what that is. John Leidy again down on the sidelines. Did you see that one?
Guys, from my view, it looked like a block in the back on the McKinney Lions.
Well, we'll check and see if John is 2 for 2 tonight. As it would have.
Pass interference.
Pass interference. Okay.
Nope. Mic off.
Sorry, John.
You get one penalty wrong, that's it. No, we're more lenient than that. Shoot, if that was the case, how many times do we have to have our mic off?
Well, this is going to push the McKinney Lions way back.
Well, so far, this has been the biggest weapon Boyd has is McKinney's penalty. That's a 15-yard variety. 4 penalties now for 50 yards.
Well, and it's really bigger than that because the ball would have been placed at the 5-yard line. Instead, McKinney has the ball way back at the Boyd 32.
Yeah, when you talk about hidden yardage within the game of football, you look at punts and things like that, but you also look at the penalties, the yardage lost from penalties outside of the penalty yards themselves. In this case, we're looking at about 10 more yards.
Eddie Morgan in the backfield. LaRon Washington goes in motion, comes back to the near side. This is going to be a fake to Morgan. Throwing it down the field is Alcorn trying to find his man. It's picked off by Parker Bolinas at the 5-yard line. And now he fumbles, but I believe he was down. Bolinas, his second interception in as many weeks for the McKinney Boyd Broncos.
And that's a shot in the arm. It looks like the penalties finally did McKinney in because there's not a chance that they're going to throw it at 1st and goal at the 5. And obviously with the 95-yard touchdown run, that in and of itself puts points on the board. So the penalties not doing McKinney any favors, and they never will. But in this case, it's especially hurting them.
Well, the Broncos of McKinney Boyd will take over at their own 6-yard line with 8:05 left to go here in the second quarter. Again, the Lions on top 12-0. And in the backfield will be A.J. Jones and company, and he's going to get the handoff running right side. And he's trying to escape the end zone and barely does. Makes his way out to the 1-yard line. Coming out to make the stop, Daniel Brash from his safety position. 7:54 left to go in the second quarter.
If you had to compare A.J. Jones to anybody in particular in running style, I think Barry Sanders is a good comparison. He got caught behind the line a lot of times because he was trying to make something out of nothing, and that's what A.J. does.
And, you know, in comparison, you have Chase Barrett at McKinney North, who is much more like Emmett Smith,
right,
who has positive yardage all the time. Rarely gets trapped behind the line of scrimmage. And push back to the 2-yard line after the 4-yard loss is McKinney Boyd. It's going to be a handoff up the middle, and that's Nate Hill. Has lots of running room to the 10, 15, look out, 20, and caught down from behind at the 18-yard line.
And that's where this two-headed monster, the running game, can really come in handy. You've got one guy who will try to make nifty moves and can make nifty moves, and you got Nate Hill, who's that north-south runner. Using our comparison, it's almost like Barry Sanders and Emmett Smith on the same team.
Well, and if it weren't for Mitch Mecklenar, Boyd would be on the board right now because he came up and made that saving tackle from behind there on Nate Hill, who is still in the game at the tailback position. Philip Sears, the quarterback, will go under center. Says something for a moment to Nate Hill, trying to get the plays right. Again, Hill saw his action at running back for the first time last week. This is an I formation, toss left side, Nate Hill. A great block from Zach Jones. Hill escapes to the 30, a flag down. But I tell you what, that was a very impressive block by Zach Jones, and Jones isn't very big. The junior is probably around 5'6", I'm going to guess.
Well, while we're on it, since we're using that comparison, Emmett Smith was one of the better blockers, and it's going to be a hold on the Boyd Broncos. You know, and that's one thing. Heelnet wasn't very big, but if you're fundamentally solid as a blocker, you know, it doesn't matter your size or your strength always helps, but it doesn't matter as much as if you just know how to block. I mean, there's something in that about knowing how to block, and you know, Zach's done that, and that's allowed those outside runs to work, because if he doesn't do that, they're tackled behind the line of scrimmage because they don't have the ability to get behind contain.
Well, the ball will be placed at the 14-yard line, or actually the 21-yard line. in Boyd territory, and this is going to be a handoff. Actually, Sears is going to keep it. He's caught behind the line of scrimmage, and he's really dropped for a loss there. Co Estes, the 6'2", 210-pound senior, comes up and makes a stop for McKinney. 6:15 left to go here in the second quarter. McKinney Lions on top, 12-0. And talking a little 500, the McKinney Lions looking for their 500th win actually got their 400th on November the 3rd, 1989 versus Allen when they won 38-7. We'll give you some more milestones in a moment.
Well, that's not a score you're likely to see anytime soon. Allen down by that score. They're pretty good in today's high school football world.
Ron Poe actually was here for the 300th and 400th win at McKinney High. Here's going to be Philip Sears, who's in trouble behind the line of scrimmage and somehow gets out of it. 15, 20, look out. 25, a great block at the 30-yard line, and down right there, Sears will go. A huge block. Somebody was really popped.
Well, you saw that telegraphed right away, too.
It was Mitch McLenar who really got popped over on that far sideline, and what a tremendous block.
Well, next to us are a lot of guys from McKinney North, including the coach, Sean Pratt. And as soon as that block went down, as a coach, you see that coming a mile away. The guy looking at the ball carrier and the blocker just licking his chops, knowing what's about to come. And then all of a sudden, the room next to us, you hear the big ooh.
Yeah.
That
was definitely an ooh moment.
Oh, yeah, that's one of the biggest plays in football is that block that the defender doesn't see coming.
It was very close to one of those old Bill Bates type hits.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly.
4:49 left to go, second quarter. McKinney Lions on top of the Broncos of McKinney Boyd, 12-0. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. 4:49 left to go, second quarter. McKinney on top of Boyd, 12-0. Handoff up the middle to Nate Hill from Boyd on third down. We'll bring up a fourth down. On the stop for McKinney was Ryan Hughes from his linebacker position. Actually had 0 tackles coming into tonight, so mark that one down for his first tackle of the year.
A lot of milestones, huh?
Fourth down for McKinney Boyd. And it will be at their own 33-yard line. Again, a huge crowd on the far sideline from McKinney. Pretty big crowd from McKinney Boyd as well. And it is one of those things where it's all gold on one side. Here's the block punt.
First down.
From Travis Yarborough. Not a very good one, as it'll be killed dead by Blake Little just inside the stripe. And McKinney will take over inside Boyd territory. There is a flag down, however.
Either running into the kicker or roughing the kicker, and I thought I saw the official. That's what I was saying when I said first down. There's a lot of rush, but if you don't touch the ball, you still can't touch the punter.
Former McKinney Lion Jared Foyt spotting for us tonight tells us Justin Davis was the young man who ran into Yarborough there.
Well, let's see which one it is. I thought I saw the head official.
And this is huge for Boyd.
Oh, it's an automatic first down one way or another. And it's just a matter of where the yardage are going to be in there. It's the 15-yarder, Monty. Golly, penalties killing McKinney. They've already literally taken points off the board and then killed another one. That is the 5th penalty, Monty. You ready for this? 65 yards.
Wow. And that, again, there's so many other yardage included in that. Yeah, you've got 95 yards and 6 points included in some of that.
We're probably looking at close to 150 yards gone off the board because of penalties.
This is going to be Sears. Drops back, wants to throw the home run ball down the right side. Has Fuller. Fuller goes up for it and comes down for it. Comes down with it. And now they're going to say incomplete. Do we have a call yet?
Yeah, well, the guy, the linesman on the far side was watching it down, and he's going to say no. I mean, that's far away from us where we don't have the clear visual, but I'm not sure if I agree with that one.
Well, they're going to say incomplete. It'll be second down and 10.
One way or another, you can't take it off the board.
3:54 left to go here in the second quarter. The Lions on top 12-0 and could be a lot more, but Boyd hanging in there, and really that could have been a huge momentum change for Boyd.
Well, right now the Boyd offense working, but only because of the run. They've got all their yardage, about 92 of it, and it's come from the ground.
Second down and 10. This is going to be a toss left side, and that is A.J. Jones in trouble behind the line of scrimmage. Reverses field. He has escaped one man trying to find that far corner and does, and somehow gains about 8 yards. You know, it's one of those old Tony Dorsett type runs where you go one direction, get in trouble, and turn around and go the other direction. But when you do that, you have to have a ton of speed. And A.J. Jones apparently does, running that 4.4.
Well, as I'm watching the play, we saw that last week, and I'm thinking, well, this isn't going to work against a good McKinney defense. And somehow he's able to turn not just into positive yardage, but he turns it into 8 yards. And now it's 3rd and 2.
3rd and 2, 3:37 left to go in the second quarter. It'll be 3rd down and a big play here for Boyd. 12-0, the Lions on top. I formation for McKinney Boyd. Phillip Sears goes under center, and he's going to toss left side. That's Nate Hill coming into the game, has the 45. Look out, 40, and drug down from behind at the 45-yard line, and Josh Lane comes up and makes the stop.
Well, again, another one from Lane, but Nate Hill passed the sticks, automatic, or not automatic. Obviously, he earned it, but it's still a first down nonetheless. They needed 2, got 3, and that's just solid running by Nate Hill. You're not going to see anything flashy, explosive. You're just going to see solid yards.
My 3-month-old comes up to the booth, makes his broadcast debut.
Although he's mic shy, apparently.
Yeah, he didn't want to say too much. 3:21 left to go here in the second quarter. 12-0. Lions on top. I formation. It'll be first down at the 41-yard line. And this is going to be a fake, and then they toss it late. Nate Hill has to fall on it, and I believe McKinney Boyd's going to somehow get back on the football. And coming up with it is Sears.
Yeah, how he did that, I don't know, because it looked like he was out of position with 2 other McKinney defenders there. Again, most notably, a guy we've called a bunch already in this game. Josh Lane was there, but somehow Sears able to rake it in. I don't know what's going on. That's just a few times we've seen kind of a fake pitch, as if he's saying, "Hey, you want it now?" And I was like, it's not timely, obviously. And it was just a matter of time before we saw something like that. I'm not sure what's going on.
Second down and 12. 2:22 left to go, second quarter. Moving right to left is McKinney Boyd. I formation. Sears running down the line. Wants to pitch it. Does. Nate Hill falls down at the 48. That's going to be another big loss for McKinney Boyd. And that's just one of those where his feet went out from under him. He was in traffic behind the line of scrimmage, however.
Well, and what Phillip Sears has to do on that play, Monty, he's got to sell the run. And when he pitched it out, the guy who caused him to pitch it was now in Nate's face. I mean, he's got to hold, even if in that case, it's apparent that he realizes Phil's not going to keep the ball. And so if you fake the pitch, you still allow yourself more success on that play, because now you're past not only the pitch man, but the guy who is right there on you as well. Good
news, bad news. This drive started at the 6-yard line, and this is the 12th play of the drive. However, no indication of points yet. Here's Sears, drops back 3 steps, rolls out right side, wants to throw the home run ball down the middle, and it is intercepted at the 26-yard line. Up to the 45-50. Blake Little was the intended receiver. Martinek makes the pick. It's his second interception this year. The 5'9", 165-pound junior just stepped in front of Blake Little and picked that one off.
Well, and that's just something there. If you're Blake, you have to help your quarterback out and go to the ball. He's throwing across his body, across the field. Not an easy pass to hit your receiver in stride. And he was sitting there waiting for it. You have to go get it, because you can bet the defender, in this case Andy Martinek, is going to be playing center field. And that's exactly what he was doing. And all he has to do is take a little step up. And if the receiver doesn't go to the ball, that's an easy interception.
Eddie Morgan comes into the backfield for the McKinney Lions, offset I, and this is going to be Alcorn rolling down the left side of the line. Has a lot of room, 40, tucks it up, 35, and out of bounds at the 31-yard line. That'll stop the clock. 1:13 left to go before half. 12-0, the Lions on top here, and looking for their 500th UIL win tonight.
Well, it looks like they're well on their way. They just can't stop the run, Monty. Calvin Maxwell, 3 carries, 99 yards. Eddie Morgan, only 2 carries, 42 yards. That carry by Zane Alcorn was his third. He's got 27 yards. And LaRon Washington has a carry for 14.
Boyd took basically all the time off the clock in the second quarter, but came up with nothing to show for it.
On either drive.
This is going to be a toss right side. Eddie Morgan taking his time, moving out to the right side, and finally finds that near side and is tackled. But he didn't look like he was running full speed on that play.
Well, I wonder if he was waiting for his blocking to develop, because there was a couple of dark blue jerseys in his face. And it looks like we're going to have a timeout here by McKinney.
We'll take one, too. 12-0, the Lions on top. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. Monty Walker, Brandon Helms.
Another long carry by Zane Alcorn.
Alcorn has been able to run at will tonight when he gets the chance to, and this is going to be another first down for McKinney. 45 seconds on the second quarter clock. The ball is going to be spotted right at the 10-yard line.
Well, there's a quick rush coming out of the timeout. Zane Alcorn simply off left tackle, another 16 yards. That puts him at 42, or rather 43 now.
LaRon Washington and Calvin Maxwell in the backfield. Maxwell runs right guard in trouble and stopped right at the line of scrimmage. A great play by Nate Hill. Actually, that's Lamar Peoples, and Reese Redmond comes up and makes the stop.
Another timeout by McKinney.
We're going to keep this one right. Actually, we're going to take another timeout. 12-0 Lions on top. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. Monty Walker and Brandon Helms moving left to right as McKinney about to punch it in here. Looks like Alcorn wants to throw and overthrows Calvin Maxwell on that far sideline. It will be third down, actually.
Well, it's funny, we're talking in the break. On the prior play, Calvin Maxwell ran it up the middle for no gain, and that's arguably, or not arguably, it is the best play on a run defense that the Boyd defense had. And it comes at a time where Maxwell only needed 1 yard to hit a milestone of 100 yards rushing for the half. And on that play, that was Zane Alcorn's first true incompletion. He does have 2 for the game, but one of them was intercepted. But he just overthrew his receiver there.
Eddie Morgan stands right beside Zane Alcorn in shotgun formation. He rolls right, wants to throw it in the end zone to the right back corner of the end zone, and it's incomplete. He was trying to hit Matt Reapin back there. But a nice job of coverage by Bolinas.
Well, so far, that's the guy you're looking for defender of the game for Boyd. An interception that stopped a big drive, and now that one, which stopped a potential scoring threat from a touchdown. Now it's going to be up to McKinney Lions special teams to get a field goal on the board, and that's a risky proposition at times.
It's been very suspect so far this year. It will be Jonathan Arnold coming in to attempt this 26-yard field goal. He has a 24 long for the year, and
movement on the line.
I believe Boyd actually moved first, and we'll see.
Well, the linesman's pointing on the far side that way.
John Leidy was right down there. And John, what'd you see?
Yes, guys, this movement on the defensive line, they've actually made contact with the line, so the ball was blown dead.
Okay, we'll see what McKinney elects to do now, since they'll move it up a little closer, and I believe they're just going to go ahead and try to.
Yeah. At this point, granted it's only a 12-0 score, but so far your offense has shown no signs that, they're not going to be able to. And now we're going to have another timeout?
Yeah, they're going to call a timeout here and talk things over. I believe Eddie Morgan will probably come out and run this football on fourth down. If nothing else, you pin them with 19 seconds at their own end of the field. I think going for it here is probably not a bad situation for McKinney.
Well, let's face it here. McKinney is the better team. They've shown it on offense when they're averaging like greater than 20 yards per carry. So you're going to have opportunities. Meanwhile, their offense has had success, but not sustained, continued success play after play, and that's why they're being shut out. Now, this might be a situation where you just say, hey, let's get our field goal kicker some game experience, because there's going to be a time where the field goal may be a lot more needed than it is now.
And it looks like you're going to be correct. They're going to come out in the field goal unit. Jonathan Arnold is going to come on and try to boot a 22-yarder now. Scores the pass along. Frisco over Little Elm 7-6. That one's early. And, of course, McKinney North beat the Colony last night 42-0. 22-yard field goal with 19 seconds left to go. McKinney on top already 12-0. The snap is back. It's on the tee. The kick is up. This one looks pretty good, and it is. 15-0. The Lions lead. A new score with 14 seconds left to go before the half. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. 14 seconds on the clock before half. McKinney will be kicking off to McKinney Boyd here after that 22-yard field goal by Jonathan Arnold. It took a minute and 6 seconds off the clock, and not a tremendously long drive there, but one that the McKinney Lions obviously will take every time. They put points on the board, 15-0. The Lions lead here, looking for their 500th win in UIL. Here's a short pooch kick, going to go out of bounds. That'll be a flag, and we'll see what Coach Don Drake wants to do, whether he'll take the ball with the penalty or make him kick over again.
Well, puts it at the 32. One thing to keep in mind, you can take it where it went out of bounds, or you can make him re-kick 5 yards further. At the beginning of the game, after McKinney scored their first touchdown, they kicked it off and booted it pretty deep and got Boyd started behind their 20. But it looks like they're going to make him re-kick. Now, this will be interesting to see what Coach McVay decides to do here, if he wants to make him kick it deep or do another pooch kick.
It'll be A.J. Jones and Jeff Fuller back deep to receive the kick here. Jamel Minor will stand at his 20. And keep in mind, Jamel Minor and A.J. Jones are brothers. That's probably some trivia that a lot of Boyd fans may not know. But they will re-kick this one. Gonzalez will tee it up at the 35-yard line. Moving left to right is McKinney. They will spread out now across that 25-yard line. Nate Hill roams the middle, right behind the line. The McKinney Lion kick is a high pooch kick, going to be taken at the 22-yard line and running near side and popped. Woo, what a pop on that near side by Mitch McLenar. He's trying to make up for what happened to him earlier.
Well, it ended up being a 5-yard penalty on record, but in the scope of things, it only cost the Lions about, I'm doing the math here real quick, 3 yards total, because they would have had it at the 32 and now it's at the 35. So obviously not on the caliber of the 95-yard touchdown taken off the board, but still going back to that hidden yardage thing. Sorry, Monty, go ahead.
1st and 10 for Boyd, moving right to left. 10 seconds on the clock before half. Phillip Sears is going to toss to A.J. Jones. High toss, and in trouble is Jones. Here he goes again, trying to find that far corner. Cuts it back inside 40. Look out to the 45-yard line and tackled by Daniel Brash, among others, but not after a first down for McKinney Boyd, but too little too late. That was the end of the first half.
Yeah, you needed to do something more spectacular there, kill the ball pretty quick.
15-0. McKinney Lions in the lead here at the half. It is John Leidy down on the field. John, take it away.
Coach Drake, can I get your opinions on the first half?
Gotta tackle people.
Okay, thank you, Coach. I'm going to try to see if I can catch up with the McKinney coach down at the other end.
All right,
get
thanks a
him
lot.
Coming out of the locker room, John. It might be better.
Yeah, we'll talk to him coming out of the locker room. Don Drake obviously had one little phrase there. We've got to tackle better, and that's all he really had to say. We're going to take a timeout, be back with the halftime show coming up. The McKinney Lions leading 15-0 and looking for their 500th win. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
Back in 19.
Obviously, he's a guy with a lot of success on the field, and it's got to be something to still be a part of that one. Now, when you're a former player like this, what kind of relationship do you have with the coach now? I mean, obviously, he's probably still going to remember you, as we saw Coach Pratt with our sideline guy John giving him a little ragging. I'm sure Coach McVay would be pretty similar.
Yes, I mean, I still go up to the school sometimes to work out, and I always see him, sit down, talk to him, just see how everything's going. You know, he always asks how school's going and everything like that. So he still keeps a pretty good relationship with all his ex-players.
All right, now a little about you. What are you doing now that you're you're no longer a McKinney player?
Right now I'm going to community college here in McKinney, but this spring I'm planning on going to Midwestern State up in Wichita Falls to play football up there.
Well, that's good. Should be good. A lot of fun from there. Now, I'm sure Monty's got something for you here if you're willing to entertain a question from him.
Yeah, sure.
Now, Jared, you were a part of the first ever Crosstown Showdown.
Yes.
Do you think, obviously this didn't have the same hype or anything like that, but can that make an emotional difference in a game like this for McKinney coming out and really looking flat tonight? Are they looking ahead maybe, or what's going on, do you think, in that locker room?
I'm not quite sure. I mean, obviously it has a lot to do. I mean, it's the first year they're going to be playing each other. A lot of the players, they're their friends, they're their enemies. I mean, they've played with them before. So, I mean, it really has a lot to do. I mean, I know there was some trash talking before the game, definitely. That always has a little bit. They could be looking forward to next week's game or even a little further ahead to the McKinney North game. But one thing they got to really concentrate, not only is it a crosstown game, it is their first district game. And they really want to come out with the first district game as a win.
All right, that is Jared Foyt, former McKinney Lions offensive lineman, and now we've stolen him away. He's our spotter here up in the booth. 15-0, the Lions on top of the McKinney Boyd Broncos. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to halftime at Ron Poe Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms. 15-0, the McKinney Lions in the lead here over the McKinney Boyd Broncos. The first ever meeting between the two teams. Again, McKinney looking for their 500th UIL win. Let's go way back and look at their first one. It was against Farmersville. The little community over here east. Farmersville on September 17th, 1920. The McKinney Lions, actually they weren't even known as the Lions back then, defeated Farmersville at a place called Binge Park here in McKinney for their very first UIL win. The score was 26-0. They actually recorded their first shutout that afternoon as well. They got their 100th win on November 24th, 1943 against Arlington at Newsom Stadium here in McKinney, 13-6. Number 200, well, it came October 23rd, 1964 against Gainesville, an old nemesis of the McKinney Lions, 42-6 at MHS Stadium right here in this building.
Well, not this particular building.
It was this particular building.
Well, since it was built over the summer, I'm pretty sure that's not the case.
Well, in this surrounding area, I should say. In this stadium.
Yeah, we all know what you mean. I'm just bragging you.
If we would have been at this particular place in 1964,
we'd probably be a couple of park benches.
We'd hope we had some parachutes or something at that point. They did. The McKinney Lions recorded their 300th victory, September the 30th, rather. That's tomorrow. That's 29 years ago tomorrow. The McKinney Lions recorded their 300th victory at Lancaster, and that was under Ron Poe, 21-13 the win there. And then number 400 came in 1989 on November the 3rd against Allen, 38-7 in that one. Will 500 be tonight?
Well, let me ask you this. I'll put you on the spot. When was the first game? I mean, you mentioned that their first win came the 17th of September, and obviously if we're talking today's standards, that's a couple of games into the season. But then again, we all know back in the 20s it was a lot different when you look at some of the opponents that they played.
And that was actually their first game and first win. They didn't play any games before that in 1920, and they did start school later on back in those days, and they obviously started their football games later on back in those days. But and we're just talking about UIL numbers. Obviously, the program goes way back beyond 1920, but we want to celebrate the achievements under the umbrella of the University Interscholastic League. And
well, those are the records that count. I mean, but prior to that, you didn't even have state champions or anything like that on any formal level.
And you had players that may have played for A&M one year and came back and played for a high school team the next year. It just wasn't policed, and those records probably, for a reason, they're not counted. But in my research, going back to 1901, I did find games as far back as October 27th, 1901 in a game versus Sherman. That is the first recorded game in McKinney history. And here come the McKinney Boyd Broncos coming back out, and they're looking for their first win tonight. They're in the same position the McKinney Lions were in September 17th, 1920.
Although different circumstances surrounding that team. It's a lot easier to start up a team back in 1920, especially when you consider they weren't really technically by those means a startup. Now you got to go through a couple of years of growing pains just like North did before on any level you can get to that, competitive caliber. So just a matter of time. I think we'll see it at some point. When, we don't know.
Scores to pass along: Highland Park over Terrell, 28-0. We had Forney over Pierce, 7-0. And Frisco, a 9-4A score. Frisco over Little Elm, 21-12. We haven't found a Centennial and Lake Dallas score yet. We'll look for that one.
Odds are Lake Dallas on top. They're picked to go second in the district. Centennial still picked near the bottom, but you had to play the game.
And again, last night's 9-4A score, McKinney North over the Colony, 42-0. That was your basic Eric Herbal, Chase Barrett show. And I tell you what, who's becoming a part of that is Blake Mooney.
Yeah.
Another touchdown last night. Blake Mooney, just coming over from the basketball program, said, "Hey, I want to play football," and he's been tremendous.
Well, they lost a couple of their receivers. In fact, some couple of really good receivers for North last year. And so if they had to fill a need on the Bulldogs, it was receiver. They got it now, obviously, coming from the basketball squad. So they're ready to go, and you know what? They're going to be fun to watch. We have next week.
Also ready to go are the McKinney Lions and the McKinney Boyd Broncos back out on the field. The Boyd Broncos will receive the ball here to open the second half. It'll be Jeff Fuller and A.J. Jones standing inside their 5-yard line at the 3. C.J. Gonzalez will kick this one away. The ball's teed up at the 40-yard line. 15-0. McKinney Lions in the lead here over the McKinney Boyd Broncos. First time they've ever met. McKinney looking for 500. McKinney Boyd looking for 1. This is going to be the Jeff Fuller who takes it. Actually, he lets it bounce right beside him. He's lucky it didn't hit him, and he's going to down it in the end zone 9 yards deep in the right side of the end zone, and McKinney Boyd will take over 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line.
Boy, that was pretty dangerous. He was not in any hurry to get on the ball and down it, and McKinney was surely in a hurry coming down on the sideline, streaking there. Could have been a big play for McKinney, but now as it is, the Boyd Broncos will take off. Now, that's the question I have. Why, he may not be accurate on the field goals, but why not kick it off deep here? You're starting at the 20. On the other time they did it, it was behind the 20, so you're getting better field position. But again, the return threat's a little higher.
Moving right to left is Boyd. Philip Sears, the quarterback, Zach Jones, and Nate Hill in the backfield. And Zach Jones goes in motion, and that's okay, but the problem is the right guard went in motion as well, and that's going to be Matt Bajinska, and that'll be a false start against Boyd. Back him up, and already Boyd shooting themselves in the foot coming out of the gate here in the second half.
Yeah, your back can go in motion, your lineman can. It's as easy as that. And I'm not sure what happened because the lineman can't see Zach Jones moving, but it almost looked as right as if Jones went in motion, the lineman moved. Maybe it's an audio cue from Philip Sears.
1st and 15, handoff Nate Hill up the middle, and he's met at the line of scrimmage. Goes down at the 15-yard line, maybe a gain of 1. Daniel Welch, the linebacker, 6 foot, 210 senior, comes up and makes the stop.
Well, not much there. The middle hasn't been too successful for the Boyd Broncos, and that's pretty much why you've got 2 guys clogging it up in the middle, Co Estes and Matt Steinbrenner. They're doing a pretty amazing job.
Welch, who made the tackle there, came in leading the team with 30 of them. Also a sack. Here's going to toss right side, Nate Hill, and he cuts it up inside, has the 20. Actually, he's going to be shy of the 20-yard line, so not a whole lot doing on this opening possession for Boyd, as you really thought that they might come out and make a statement here, but the false start just kind of set the tone for this drive.
Well, when you're a running team, the penalties hurt because it's a 5-yard penalty. Right now they're looking at 3rd and 11. 3rd and 6 looks a lot better because you can run or pass conceivably for the first down. Going back to those 2 guys in the middle I talked about, Estes Steinbrenner, they're not making a lot of plays in the stats category, but they're playing exactly what you want them to do, and that's clogging the middle. 2 unsung heroes on that defense.
This is going to be a toss from Sears to A.J. Jones, who's in the game now, and he crosses the 20. He's not going to be anywhere close to a first down. He's tackled by just about everybody that has a gold helmet on the field, and it'll be 4th down for McKinney Boyd, and that's actually Nate Hill on the carry there for McKinney Boyd instead of A.J. Jones. Travis Yarborough will stand at his own 10-yard line, back to punt this one away. He'll move up now to the 12. Back deep for the McKinney Lions will be Eddie Morgan, again, who just signed with Stanford, we mentioned earlier. He will stand at his own 44-yard line.
Well, this shows why that penalty can hurt. Right now it's 4th and 5, and it was a 5-yard penalty.
Ball at the 24-yard line. Yarborough tries to get this one away, unscathed, and does. It bounces at the 40 and rolls out of bounds at the 42-yard line. So McKinney in great shape inside Boyd territory. Not a great punt there.
17 yards. He had a 10-yarder earlier. I'm wondering if part of the problem isn't that he's feeling the pressure.
There is a lot of pressure coming right up the middle from McKinney. And again, the ball will be rested at the 42-yard line. 9:58 left to go here in the third quarter, rather. And moving left to right is McKinney. Offset I. Alcorn is going to fake the toss and now hand it to LaRon Washington running that left counter trap. He has a lot of running room, crosses the 30 for a first down to the 28-yard line.
Another 14-yard carry. That's his, that's his second carry on the game. His first one was also for 14 yards.
Sean Pratt and the rest of the McKinney North coaches over here taking a keen eye on what's going on with their opponent coming up next week. They're getting a first-hand look at what these McKinney Lions can do on the ground.
Yeah, and those are two schools that are pretty familiar with each other. And in fact, all three schools seem to be, because Pratt came from McKinney and Drake came from Norris. So, I mean, it's like farming grounds for everyone.
Zane Alcorn rushes up the middle, flag down. He's going to have another first down before he's finally wrestled down. Now he breaks away again. 15 down to the 10, inside the 10 to the 6. Fumble on the play. I believe the Lions were able to recover it. I believe Matt Steinbrenner came up with it, I thought. There was some shuffling around at the line of scrimmage. Talk about that, Brandon.
Well, what it looked like is that almost the rest of the line, minus the center, wasn't ready for the snap count. He snapped it soon. And you know what? As long as no one moves before the snap, they can do whatever they want to. And that's exactly what Zane Alcorn did. The two line on either side were there. There was offsides on the Boyd Broncos. And so the rest of the guys were keying on the line, and only the two guys moving, center and quarterback, and that allowed Zane Alcorn to sneak through and get 21 yards.
Well, the ball will now be at the 7-yard line. It'll be first and goal from the 7. 9:13 left to go, third quarter. Eddie Morgan in the backfield. Toss to him, running right tackle, trying to find this near corner. Jumps over McKinney Boyd into the end zone. It's touchdown time in Texas, and that's why that young man's going to Stanford. Did you see the athletic ability he just showed?
Well, I'm sure our listeners did, but we had the first bird's eye view here in the stadium press box overlooking it, and he looked like he was going to be out at about the 3-yard line. Somehow he's able to leave his feet, and that's the only situation where leaving your feet's not always a bad idea. If it's in the middle of the field, you're going to get hammered leaving your feet. He didn't and got the touchdown.
New kicker on for McKinney, and he boots this extra point through, and I believe on the kick
6
is going, and we don't have a number for 6. 22-0. The Lions in the lead here. 9:04 left to go in the third quarter. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. Monty Walker, Brandon Helms, John Leidy, and Jared Foyt with you tonight. 9:04 left to go, third quarter. 22-0. The Lions in the lead.
Well, we're talking during the break, and this is one advantage that Jared's able to give us. That's an intentional play McKinney does on that offsides. We'll get back to that in a minute.
Here's the kickoff, and Jeff Fuller's going to take it at his own 5-yard line up to the 20, 25, trying to shed tacklers, and goes down at the 28-yard line. So McKinney Boyd will take over at their own 28. First and 10 with 8:57 left to go, third quarter.
Well, Jared was saying that's something that the center intentionally does when he sees one of the defensive linemen jump off sides to snap it right away. And, a lot of the times, I wonder why we wouldn't see that more, because, like you said, the linebackers key the guards. If the guards don't move, you already have that advantage, because defense by nature has to be reactionary. And if they don't get that first step, it should be a successful play. But anyway, that's what happens. The center saw one of the linemen jump off sides.
High formation, moving right to left. McKinney Boyd. Philip Sears is going to run this one. He had a bad snap exchange, but he picked it up, and now he's going to run it, and he's going to be close to the first down, right at the marker. Needed to get to the 40 for the first, and I believe he's going to be maybe a foot short, so it'll be second down and short with 8:40 left to go in the third quarter. McKinney Boyd down 22-0.
And that's the hard thing that we're having to judge here, is whether or not that was a missed exchange or if it was an intentional quarterback draw, as that looked to be. Sears ended up going to get 9 yards. He only took 2 steps back, but if he's juggling it, he may not want to hang in the pocket for fear of fumbling the ball, so he just takes off.
Second down and short. Do you go for the home run ball here? Look out for Jeff Fuller. I formation for Boyd. Again, they run that tight end off the line of scrimmage, and there it looks like another bad snap, but he tosses out to Nate Hill, who has the first down and more, rips away from a defender out to the midfield.
11-yard gain by Nate. They needed 1.
And
that's what makes him so good, Monty, as I think he has that capability that A.J. doesn't to break the tackles. A.J.'s got the speed.
In Denison a few years ago, they used to call Anthony Hines and Corey Robertson shock and awe. We may have that same kind of situation here with A.J. Jones and Nate Hill. First and 10 for McKinney Boyd, right at the midfield stripe. Moving right to left. Sears goes under center, and he's going to hand off up the middle. Nate Hill makes one defender miss, gains 4 yards out to the 46-yard line.
See, that's what I love about Nate. He's stuck in the backfield, but he doesn't run around trying to make a move. Instead, what he does, he just decides to pick it up, run north-south, in this case a 4-yard gain.
We're going to check down with John Leidy right after this play and see what he's got roaming the sidelines down there. 7:25 left to go third quarter. McKinney Lions on top 22-0 here at Ron Poe Stadium. Second down and 6. Sears goes under center. Movement on the line. No flags are down. Sears rolls out right side, throws to Fuller. Low throw, but he digs it out. And probably, well, it's going to be a 1-yard gain. Josh Lane comes up and makes the stop. The defensive end was out there in coverage, and it's a good thing he was because he brought down Fuller at the line of scrimmage. Maybe a gain of 1.
Not a big play. Yeah, it is a gain of 1.
A gain of 1.
The first pass reception of the day, the first completion. And it's only, so right now, Philip Sears' line looks like 1 for 4, 1 yard, and an interception.
Well, the running game has been good.
Especially Nate Hill is over from 60 yards already.
Third down and 9 for McKinney Boyd. Toss left side, Nate Hill trying to find a block from Jones and gets it, but not enough for the first down out to the 45-yard line. Josh Lane again, between him and Co Estes, these guys are just having a tremendous game.
Yeah, again, they're not going to get a whole lot of tackles, but if you're a good defensive tackle, you're not going to. Your main objective is just to clog the middle, and they do an excellent job here against the Boyd Broncos.
Travis Yarborough back to punt once again. Will stand at his own 42-yard line. McKinney Lions desperately trying to get off the field here, and they make it. Eddie Morgan will stand at his own 15-yard line. The punt is away. This one's a pretty good punt. Eddie Morgan's going to take it at the 16-yard line, coming up to the 20, trying to find a block near the midfield stripe. Flag down. 25, look out. Shaking a couple of tackles. Fumble on the play. McKinney Boyd has it at the 21-yard line, and Nate Hill comes up with the fumble recovery, but let's check everything.
It's going to be an illegal block in the back, so this fumble should stand.
Let's talk to John Leidy down on the sidelines. John, probably a pretty good update there.
Yes, guys, I got into my investigative reporting mood again, and I found out the number 6 is Joey Barnard. Coach McVay actually got tired of the kicking responsibilities being on 6 different guys, so he went to the soccer department and found this kid.
His last name is?
Barnard. Barnard.
All right. Very good.
Well, you know what's funny is we suggested that. Go to your soccer team. All right,
and it is a turnover. It will stand. You were correct, Brandon. So Boyd in tremendous position here to do some damage in this football game. 5:45 left to go third quarter, and they're down 22-0. But this could be a pretty big statement if they could get A.J. Jones or Nate Hill into the end zone here. And A.J. Jones does come back, and he'll stand in I formation behind Zach Jones. Philip Sears, the quarterback. Strong side is to the right with Jamel Minor, the tight end. And this is going to be a toss right side. A.J. Jones busting his way up, and he's going to be tackled by LaRon Washington. But a nice, that's positive yardage for A.J. Jones and a 2-yard run. 5:32 left to go third quarter, down 22-0 to McKinney.
Any yardage better than lost yardage, no matter how small it is, especially when you're creeping up. This is their best chance to score since they got within the 20s on one of their drives in the first half and ended up missing on a field goal. It was partially blocked.
From the 18-yard line, it'll be a handoff to A.J. Jones. Now cuts it up right side, trying to find the 15. Another flag down, and at the 15 is where A.J. Jones goes down, and I believe this is going to be another holding. And this is starting to get a little bit ugly.
Well, and that's the thing. So far, only 3 penalties for Boyd, but they're coming at inopportune times. They got one on their first drive that ended up costing them a potential first down. And now here, Jones is able to get the ball inside the 15, so they're looking at a 3rd and short. Now what they're going to be looking at, potentially a 2nd and possibly 18, depending on how far back they mark it and where the spot of the foul occurred.
Well, the officials are marking it off. Again, the referee, Mike Reeves, the umpire, Andy Small, the line judge, Kevin Jackson, and the head linesman, Jim Zoda, the back judge, Jim Kratz. They're going to back this one all the way to the 28-yard line, so it'll be 2nd down and about 18 for McKinney Boyd. And that's a shot in their own foot that they didn't want to take there.
Especially inside the 20. Now they're back out of the 25.
I formation for Boyd, moving right to left. Sears back to pass. Now he hands off up the middle to Jones, who's tackled. A nice play right there by Major McGee. Major McGee comes up, makes a stop behind the line of scrimmage, and I tell you what, that's just a shoestring tackle right there.
Well, as I was watching that one, Philip Sears did a great job of selling that one. And if Major McGee isn't able to get by him, or rather if A.J. Jones is able to get by Major McGee, that's a good play, a good solid yardage. basically what I'm saying. Major McGee was the last line of defense between him and a long gain, and he made the play. Solid play.
Ball at the 33-yard line. Sears is going to toss right side A.J. Jones. He looks like he wanted to throw it for a second. Now he has some greenery to run towards, and he's not going to be anywhere close to the first down. He's knocked out, matter of fact, at the 25-yard line. He did not get out of bounds. The clock will roll. 3:53 and rolling here in the third quarter. 22-0. The Lions on top.
There's just not a lot of plays for a 4th and 23. I mean, rather a 3rd and 23, especially when you're on the short side of the field. And I ended up gaining 8 yards, which is, nice. But it sets up a 4th and 15, which is going to be a long field goal at the 25 of 42.
And they're going to go for it here on 4th and 15. 3:26 left to go in the third. I formation. This is going to be a fake. Sears wants to throw left side, throwing it down the field. Jeff Fuller in the end zone, goes up for it, and it is intercepted by McKinney Lions out to the 15, to the 20, and brought down right there. It is picked off by another number that we do not have.
Wow. Number 4. Zach Jones made the tackle. All right, so give credit to another one. John, let's see what we can figure out about number 4. You're able to get us the kicker.
John, you might have to go back over to the other sideline there.
Well, that's the weird thing is, I can understand the kicker going off your roster because that's a specialty position, but you don't need to go off your roster to the soccer club to find a guy who can make an interception. You have plenty of guys who have the talent to do that on your team. But again, a solid play. The Broncos need a lot of yardage, so you play a lot of men in coverage, and that's what happened there. Fuller almost came up with it, too.
LaRon Washington goes in motion. They're going to hand off to him up the middle, banging his way through for a couple of yards and loses his feet out to the 27-yard line. They're going to mark him there after a 4-yard gain inside 3 minutes now. In the third quarter, again, McKinney on top, 22-0 over little brother McKinney Boyd.
Monty, would you believe that 4-yard gain is the 4th shortest gain of the day by the McKinney Lions?
They have been able to move at will on the ground. They will send 3 receivers near side, bunched together, going to hand off to Calvin Maxwell, running left tackle, and he's knocked down at the 32-yard line, just shy of the first down. John Leidy, talk to us. Are you able to track down any new names for us on that roster over there?
I was unable to track down a name yet. The coaches were talking with the defense as they did come off the field. Some new information I do have is Eddie Morgan is being checked out by the trainers, and his return is questionable. I'll try to get back with y'all on number 4.
All right, thank you very much. Timeout on the field. We'll take one, too. 22-0. McKinney on top of McKinney Boyd. Be back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
Tonight's game action is being filled by
Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. It'll be 3rd down and 1 for McKinney, and they hand off up the middle. Big hole, look out. Calvin Maxwell, he could be gone. 50, 45, 40, drugged down at the 35-yard line by A.J. Jones. Calvin Maxwell's got a lot of speed, but not any more than A.J. Jones. A nice run there, however, on 3rd and 1. Obviously picks up the first down and a lot more inside Boyd territory with 2:07 left to go third quarter. The Lions on top, 22-0.
Just another 34-yard run. On the previous carry, he had broke 100 yards rushing at 104 on 5 carries. Now he's back up to 138 on 6 carries. Well, there's just not a lot of rush defense right now for the Boyd Broncos.
David Grayson will split out wide to the near side on the right side. Moving left to right is McKinney. Alcorn goes under center, hands off up the middle to LaRon Washington again. Struggles and fights his way out to the 25-yard line. About an 8-yard gain, 7-8-yard gain by LaRon Washington, and every time he gets the ball, he runs wild, and Dalton Russell comes up, makes the stop for Boyd.
Well, they're going to give him 9 on the carry officially, so he's got now 4 carries for 41 yards. Okay, we've got 4 guys who have rushed. Calvin Maxwell, 6 carries, 138 yards. Eddie Morgan, 4 carries, 54. Zane Alcorn, 5 for 64. And now LaRon Washington, 4 for 41.
Official timeout on the field for measurement. John Leidy down there. John, how close is this one?
Guys, I think this is actually going to be just a little bit short. Y'all probably have a little bit better view than I do up there. I'm doing my investigative reporting.
Ooh, it's very, very close. The official looks down at it, has to put his finger down. and does signal that it is a first down for McKinney, and that one was a credit card's width for the first down. And
well, now make it 4 carries, 42 for LaRon Washington.
I do hear sirens going by.
I guess they're happy that they got the first down.
It will be 1st and 10.
Well, it's coming from the noisemaker on the far side, but you thought we would have heard it for a 95-yard touchdown or the 60-plus from Maxwell, but instead it's a narrow first down on a measurement.
I thought it was inside my brain there for a second. 1st down and 10. Alcorn drops back, wants to pass, looks across the middle. Wide open is Daniel Brash, but it's just overthrown just over his head. He jumped up to try to make the catch, but he only got his right hand on it, and it went over his head and incomplete. 59 seconds. Chris Thornton on the coverage for McKinney Boyd.
Thornton had it from behind, but Lamar Peoples really pounded him to make sure he didn't bring that one in. Nice job on the far side for the secondary of the Boyd Broncos, preventing that one. If there's one thing you can take out, it's at least the pass defense has been okay. 3 completions on 7 attempts for Zane Alcorn, but those 4 incompletions have all come on his last 4 pass attempts.
Nick Stardy checks into the game. Will split out wide right. Washington and Maxwell in the backfield. This is going to be the option to Maxwell running left side. 25-20, 15-10, 5. It is touchdown time in Texas. Calvin Maxwell on a 24-yard scamper. And you can pretty much seal this 500th win for the McKinney Lions.
Well, 6 carries, 162 yards now. Second touchdown? Or is that his 3rd? Wow.
You're the pro, Brandon.
Yeah, apparently not.
It was a 24-yard touchdown by Calvin Maxwell, and the extra point is up, and it is no good. This one wide left, and he may look for another soccer kicker next week.
Well, you got to give him time to get into the game.
And obviously, we're just joking. 28-0, McKinney Lions on top here. 52 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms, Jared Foyt, and John Leidy. And John, check down with you on the sidelines. How electrifying was that 24-yard touchdown run by Calvin Maxwell?
Guys, that was electrifying. I think that, like y'all put it, I think that put the dagger in the heart of the McKinney Boyd Broncos.
And the kickoff is underway. Jeff Fuller is going to take it at his own 5-yard line, coming across to the far sideline, and actually makes his way up to the mid part of the field. He was trying to find that far sideline, but gets tackled at the 24, so Boyd will take over there. And we're nearing the end of the third quarter here. 28-0 our score. McKinney Lions in the lead with 44 seconds left to go in the third. So the Boyd Broncos will take over at their own, they'll call it the 25 now, moving right to left, 2 receivers to either side, I formation, and Sears is going to hand off up the middle, and that is Nate Hill once again, who crosses the 25 out to the 28-yard line. Mitch McLenar makes the stop for McKinney.
Nate Hill, a very underestimated game so far, 14 carries, 78 yards. Needless to say, he's been pretty much the Boyd offense. A.J. Jones, 16 carries for 50 yards. Other than that, not a lot.
Jeff Fuller split out wide right on that far side. 2nd down and 7. Under 20 seconds now in the third quarter. Toss right side, Nate Hill struggles to get back to the line of scrimmage and actually gains 2 yards as he crosses the 30. And that is going to be the end of the third quarter. McKinney Lions all on top here. Have kind of stretched out this game a little bit. 28-0 back in a moment with the fourth quarter on 97.5 KLAK. Well, there will be a heartache tonight, but it looks like it's going to be the McKinney Boyd Broncos who will be denied of their first ever win under the UIL, and McKinney looks like they're going to go on and win their 500th. We'll pass along some scores here in just a moment. As McKinney Boyd has the ball, switching sides, moving left to right. Sears back to pass. Now he's going to tuck it, and he has the 34-yard line. He's going to go down there. It'll be 4th down and punting time for McKinney Boyd. Scores to pass along. McKinney North obviously won last night, 42-0. The last scores we had, Frisco over Little Elm, 21-12. We also had Forney over Pierce, 16-0. Highland Park over Terrell, 42-0. Garland over Rockwall 24-12. Allen over Plano 7-0. And Plano East over Lake Highlands 16-0. Obviously, we don't know exactly when those scores have last been updated, but we'll check that in a moment. Travis Yarborough will go back to punt here. He'll stand at his own 21-yard line. There's a low snap. He digs it out, and he punts this one away. An end-over-end kick that's going to bounce at the 38-yard line in McKinney territory. And rolled, what a great roll for McKinney Boyd. It's going to be down inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. Probably the best thing outside the rushing game for McKinney Boyd tonight.
Well, 52-yard punt. You take his 2 previous punts, they were 10 and 17, so that'll work wonders for it.
We also want to thank Jermaine Designs, who takes care of our broadcast uniforms year in and year out. Please give a call to Laurel Hamrick in Denison. Now, they do all of the embroidery work. If you have company logos, things like that, give Jermaine Designs a call at 903-465-5590. We also want to mention the Varsity Shop, who's coming on board as a new sponsor for KLAK. Here's a handoff to Calvin Maxwell, running right side up to the 15 and fighting his way past the 20 out to the 25-yard line for a first down. Calvin Maxwell never gave up on that play, and it was Chris Garrison who finally brought him down. But I'm telling you, that was a tremendous effort by Maxwell.
Right now, the biggest impediment to the Boyd defense is tackling. He should have been stopped for less than 5 easy. Instead, it turned out to be a 13-yard gain. 175 yards rushing for Calvin Maxwell, 8 carries, Monty, 2 touchdowns.
1st and 10 for McKinney as they're trying to wrap up their 500th victory here tonight. 10:43 and rolling before they can celebrate that number 500. 2 receivers to the left side, or 2 receivers to either side, actually. Alcorn's going to hand off Maxwell. No, he's going to keep it. Alcorn crosses the 30 out to the 32-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and about 8. We want to thank, on the tackle, Cole Akins comes up and makes the stop for the McKinney Boyd Broncos. We do want to talk about the Varsity Shop. They're over at El Dorado and Lake Forest in the Kroger Center. They do all embroidery and silk screening as well. Promotional products, team uniforms, corporate apparel, trophies, plaques, you name it. If it has to do with sports, it's Varsity Shop in McKinney. 2 receivers to the near side, 1 to the right. 9:58 left to go in this game. Handoff Calvin Maxwell, breaking 1 tackle, has the first down and more out to the 44-yard line. Another first down. I tell you what, McKinney trying to run this clock out basically, and it may just be too much for McKinney Boyd. The ground game for McKinney is just tremendous tonight.
Well, 187 yards rushing on 9 carries now for Calvin Maxwell, which overshadows great games by Eddie Morgan, 4 carries, 54. Zane Alcorn, 6 for 68. I mean, it's tackling. I mean, plain and simple right now. Boyd, I mean, that again, there was a tackler there within 5 yards.
And that's what Don Drake says in his coaches shows and things. It's football 101 at his practice. Here's a handoff to LaRwan Washington, and there's a nice job of tackling by Boyd. But he says it's football 101 at his practice. They do tackling drills. They do blocking drills. You know, your basic football stuff. That's what they're having to go through right now because they're so young and they have young players.
Well, and let's remember this, too. About half this team, if this was an established school, would be on the junior varsity right now, honing their craft against similar players. But right now, this is almost the equivalent of a very good junior varsity team going up against a pretty good varsity team. I mean, that's pretty much what it is.
New players into the ball game for McKinney, splitting out wide left. This is going to be a toss left side, and Maxwell gets the toss again. 50, 45, 40. Look out, he could be gone. Walking the tightrope down the sidelines, and he goes out of bounds at about the 32-yard line. A flag down on a late hit. I think A.J. Jones is going to be hit with a personal foul there.
I don't know about that because he's still running down the sideline like he had. I mean, I understand the call, but I mean, you, as a defender, it's not in your nature to let the guy continue to run. I mean, unless there was something that happened after it, but if he just tackled him within the field of play, well, they call dead ball. But again, it would be a dead ball if that was the case anyway.
Well, it will be a personal foul against McKinney Boyd, and it had to be A.J. Jones who was over there who made the stop on Calvin Maxwell. So McKinney will push closer and closer to that end zone and 35th point here.
By the way, that's now 209 rushing yards for Calvin Maxwell on 10 carries.
It's not bad when you can average 20 a carry.
Well, 20.9 even.
28-0, McKinney Lions leading here.
I mean, this is unreal. I mean, and we know about Eddie Morgan, and we saw Calvin Maxwell get extended play earlier in the season. But I mean, it's pretty fun to watch.
John Volberding into the game, split out wide right, toss right, and that's Anthony Jones who's going to get the toss, and he has the carry out to the 10-yard line. And I say Anthony Jones, Anthony Butler, and he's going to make his way down to the 5-yard line, and that's enough for a first down. They'll actually mark him at the 6.
Well, LaRon Washington's last carry put him at 5 for 43. Now if you add Anthony Butler, that's 5 guys who've carried the ball for the McKinney Lions, and 4 of them have averages greater than 10.
Anthony Butler will, and we knew that coming into the game. The Broncos had given up an average of 277 yards per game rushing, 230 yards per game passing. That's 507 yards per game, which is a lot of yards.
Well, that's at least going to come down because McKinney doesn't like to pass as much as they like to run, but the rushing average is definitely going to jump up there.
Handoff, Anthony Butler fighting his way to the end zone. It's touchdown time in Texas for the McKinney Lions again. 28-0 in 8:02 delicious minutes before their 500th victory.
Well, it's funny that, I said earlier 4 guys averaging greater than 10. Well, that actually is going to put Anthony Butler below 10 yards per rush, but only because an end zone stopped him. Oh, a new kicker, Monty.
Well, it'll be Jonathan Arnold back in to kick here. The extra point. He's going to boot this one. A line drive, hooked it left. So another missed PAT leaves our score 34-0. 8:02 left to go in this game. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. 34-0, McKinney Lions in the lead over the McKinney Boyd Broncos here at Ron Poe Stadium. Thank you for joining us, Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms. It was a 6-play, 86-yard drive by the McKinney Lions, capped off by a 6-yard touchdown by Anthony Butler into the game. 34-0, again, our score, McKinney in the lead. John Leidy down on the sidelines probably has some good information for us, I'm sure. John?
Yes, guys. During the break, we were debating about the kicking game. McKinney's used 2 different kickers tonight. Mr. Arnold has gone, I believe, 1 for 3, and I think Mr. Bernard has gone 1 for 2. Just to clarify that for y'all.
All right, thank you very much, John Leidy. And this is going to be the kickoff by McKinney Boyd. And the McKinney Lions will take over at their own 33-yard line. I think they'll call it the 35, actually, is where McKinney will take over. Or the Boyd Broncos will take over, rather. 7:57 left to go before the McKinney Lions celebrate their 500th victory under the University Interscholastic League. Nate Hill into the game at tailback. Sears goes under and is going to toss right side. Nate Hill has the corner, 35 up to the 40, dragged down at the 42-yard line. On the stop for McKinney was LaRon Washington. 34-0, McKinney in the lead, and I'm sure John Leidy will be talking to head coach Todd McVeigh after this one and finding out about that 500th win, talking to some players, finding out their reaction. Really, Todd McVeigh probably wants to put this one away and not talk about 500 anymore, I'm sure.
Let's talk about 600.
I formation. Toss left side, Nate Hill at the 40. Stiff arms him in at the 45. Nice. That's a great stiff arm move. Makes his way up for the first down to midfield. And I'm telling you what, he really laid that right hand into the McKinney defender, knocked him right down on his feet.
Well, we talk about the prolific running nature of the McKinney Lions. Right now, I mean, you've got to like what you see out of Nate Hill. That's only his 17th carry. He's got 96 yards. He's been able to do his part It's just that they're not getting a lot of support in the passing game on offense because the McKinney Lions defense is playing very well.
We have another score to pass along. Wichita Falls Rider over Sherman, 26-21. That's in the fourth. This is going to be a toss left side. Nate Hill crosses the midfield stripe, making his way up to the 45 and can't do it. Is dragged down at the 47-yard line. 6:50 left to go in this game. 34-0 McKinney Lions in the lead here. And next week's going to be another showdown, and it actually is the true crosstown showdown. McKinney North and McKinney. McKinney will come in at 3-1. And the McKinney North Bulldogs come in at a perfect 4-0, and you've got to think that North will be the favorite there, obviously.
Well, last year, that's where kind of the roles were reversed. McKinney had been the dominant player in that series, been winning the district, going to the playoffs, and then North wins, and now McKinney didn't make the playoffs, and North did.
Hand off to Zach Jones up the middle, flag down. Jones will cross the 45 to the 43-yard line. We'll check the flag. But you're right. Last year, McKinney had been up so high in previous years, or in 2004, as Jared well knows, and then kind of
look
slipped.
at him cocky over there.
And kind of slipped down a little bit, whereas North had been down and last year had moved up and improved. And I thought really going into the crosstown showdown last year that little balance put them pretty even. And we saw with that game last year it was dead even. As a matter of fact, it came down to a last-minute field goal to decide that game, and one kicker made it and one didn't.
Well, that's basically what it was, and that was the tale for McKinney all year long, was a lot of missed opportunities and right down to the wire.
Jeff Fuller will make the catch at the 38-yard line, makes a nice move to the 30, down at the 27-yard line, but a flag is down right at the 34 where Fuller made the catch.
Illegal block by Matt Morton. That'll be negated. It'll be a downfield penalty, so it'll be from the spot of the foul. But, we talk about it. And, as much as McKinney North is probably your favorite, those rivalry games, there's a reason there's a cliche that says throw the records out the window. That's what a rivalry game is. And in terms of the McKinney ISD, there is no truer rivalry than the two football programs at McKinney because, prior to last year, McKinney was the one who was doing the winning. And then all of a sudden in comes the North and says, we'll be the top dogs this year. Y'all just sit back and watch us in the playoffs.
And they have stayed the top dogs so far this year, outscoring their opponents 172-27. How about those numbers? Phillip Sears overthrows his wide receiver Blake Little, and it'll go out of bounds and incomplete. It'll be second down.
A couple plays ago, there was a McKinney penalty, incidental face mask. That was the first penalty of the half. You talked about the penalties that killed him in the first. They've been a lot better at that here in the second half as we're about halfway through the fourth quarter.
Jeff Fuller comes split out wide to the right. Blake Little split out wide left. I formation. Phillip Sears still under center here. He's going to toss left side. Nate Hill has a lot of momentum running towards that line of scrimmage. Fumble on the play, and looks like the McKinney Lions have recovered. Now the ball's still on the turf, however. A lot of people still scrambling for it. McKinney Lions jumping like they have it. Now the officials say they do. So a big fumble there by Nate Hill isn't going to make Coach Don Drake happy. And coming up with it is Ryan Hughes, who actually recovered the fumble there for the McKinney Lions. Under 6 minutes, 5:57 left to go in this game. 34-0. The Lions of McKinney are on top of the Broncos of McKinney Boyd.
Just add it to the list.
A lot of things to work on for McKinney Boyd, obviously. They're a brand new program, offensively and defensively. Really more so defensively than offensively, because it looks like their running game, they're able to get positive yards on most every play. It's just the little mistakes that hurt. The flags, fumbles like this, turnovers, interceptions. But for the most part, offensively, they're way ahead of the defense. 1st and 10 for McKinney, a new quarterback into the game, and also Anthony Butler gets the toss here, and he runs for 5 yards into the game. Ty Gerald in at quarterback will replace Zane Alcorn. Also some new faces up front. Shun Wash will check into the game. Also, Alex Vandenbush is always into the game. Really, it was Wash, who's really the only offensive lineman I've seen that's checked in other than the starters here. Here's an offset I. Butler is the tailback. They're going to hand off to the fullback, however, who pushes his way. And a nice run, first down up to the 45, breaks away and crosses midfield to the 49-yard line in Boyd territory. And on the carry for McKinney was Brett Helt, sophomore, running back and linebacker, and a lot of new faces that we've never seen or called before into this game now. But, you know, it was one of those things where you take out LaRon Washington, put in Helt, and it's really no difference.
Mm-hmm. Well, now 6 guys have carried the ball, 4 have averaged greater than 10 yards.
McKinney will have the ball at inside Boyd territory now at the 49-yard line. Offset I. Gerald, the quarterback, 2 receivers either side, is going to hand off up the middle. And that's Helt once again, and another first down, and his 10-yard average is going to stay true because he has another first down at the 39-yard line. John Leidy, you're on the sideline down there, and actually I don't know which sideline you're on right now, but talk about the atmosphere and obviously the mood of this crowd right now.
Well, the mood of the crowd I just came from the McKinney Boyd side, and I'm heading towards the McKinney Lions side. The crowd is starting to, I guess, leave the game a little bit, and the football team's starting to get their heads down. So I'm actually walking over to the McKinney Lions side to see how the crowd over here is doing and the players are doing. Also, something else I want to do, I hope Jared's listening to this, but the visiting team has won in the Crosstown Showdown every year so far. And I believe McKinney North is a visiting team next year, and I am a McKinney North alumni, and he's McKinney.
Next year.
Yeah, he meant next week, I know, and this is going to be a sack in the backfield, actually, and that's his handoff to Butler, and he's tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Under 4 minutes now left to go in this game, 34-0. The McKinney Lions on top of the McKinney Boyd Broncos. And right there, already, John Leidy starting a feud with Jared Fort.
Those two hate each other.
Well, you know, we may make it seem like that by the time next week gets here. Anyway, we're going to start a little crosstown controversy within our broadcast crew.
Before the game, we're going to put them in the boxing ring. And whoever wins will be our prediction for who wins the game.
Well, this is going to be a toss right to Helt once again, crosses the 40, and he's quick, 30, down to the 27-yard line. And not missing a beat is Brett Helt.
13 yards there. 42 yards on 3 carries for Brent.
Again, number 500 in the books for the McKinney Lions in 3 minutes and 13 seconds. A lot of celebrating, I'm sure, will take place down on the field. And this has been one of those fun things. It's not often that you get to celebrate a huge milestone, but 500 is a large amount of wins. And I think McKinney and the city of McKinney and the high school can all thank Ron Poe for 221 of those. Yeah. Here's Helt, who gets the carry, runs to the 20, and dragged down at the 18-yard line. And the official, even though it was questionable whether he was out of bounds, keeps on moving his arms and keeps that clock running.
Well, forward progress was stopped.
Wanting to get this one in the books, the officials are ready to celebrate 500 as well.
Well, watching the scoreboard, a new score update in 9-4A, Frisco leads Little Elm now 28-12. So 2 of the McKinney schools will be 1-0 after the first week of district, and Frisco will be joining when still haven't been able to get an update in the other one.
This will be Butler, the fullback, and Helt, the tailback. Gerald, the quarterback, is going to have nowhere to hand it to. Busted play there. He's in trouble, but he fights his way back to the line of scrimmage. He does a smart thing. He just turns around and goes back to the line of scrimmage. Under 2 minutes now in this football game. 34-0. McKinney Lions are leading the little brother, the McKinney Boyd Broncos. Again, a first-year program. And there's so much irony in this game. McKinney trying to find their 500th victory in their program, have all of this tradition, all of this winning tradition. They open a brand new school. The brand new school is trying to get their first victory, and they actually meet on the same night trying to get number 1 and trying to get 500, and it looks like 500 is going to win out.
Well, that was the favorite going into this one, just based on defense. And
this is going to be a toss right to Anthony Butler. Scoots his way across to the middle, and he's going to rumble into the end zone, I believe. 5, and Did he make it? No, he's out at the 1-yard line.
So close.
Very close to a touchdown for McKinney. 1:04 left in this game, 34-0 at this point. You know, and you talk about McKinney Boyd rather, and there's 0 points on the board tonight. That doesn't really necessarily tell the story of their offense. They have moved the ball, especially in the first half, at will. It was just things that happened, flags and you know,
well, even if
sloppiness.
You take the sheer touchdown of the 95-yard rush from
Eddie Morgan,
you know, that drive was later negated. You know, you look at it, McKinney has 40 points, but, you know, right now, Boyd has been able to move between the tackles, and here's a classy play.
That's a very classy move by head coach Todd McVay. Just taking a knee. Gerald will back up and take a knee there. 54 seconds on the clock. You know, it's nice to get your 500th win, and it's nice to probably do it against the new school. The new school taking some of your players away. It's a good chance to kind of stick it in their face, but a very class act there by Coach Todd McVay saying, hey, little brother, you're still little brother, and we'll take a knee.
Well, he's won it. There's no need to score the touchdown. You know what? Maybe that's exactly why Butler didn't go into the end zone. Possible. I'm not going to say, because it looked like he was going to have a touchdown pretty easily, and somehow it started flattening out. Maybe.
And Gerald will take another knee here.
And that's it.
And the McKinney Lions have 14 delicious seconds to savor before their 500th victory. 7-6, 34-0. The McKinney Lions on top of the McKinney Boyd Broncos tonight. And it's over. McKinney, your Lions have 500 wins in UIL. Congratulations.
Solid play by the offensive line. Solid play by the running backs, making the Boyd defense miss tackles. Solid play on the other side by Boyd's Nate Hill. He played very well, and Parker Belinas had one interception and a couple of pass defense and a couple of tackles. He did a really nice job, and there's got to be some other help in the defense to start taking it to that another level. But if you want to look at one thing, it's tackles. Meanwhile, I mean, you got to understand this. We're not looking at a bad team here in McKinney. These are guys who are going to be competing for the playoff spots for 9-4A.
There will be a celebration on the field, from what I understand. There will be a presentation in recognition of the 500th victory for McKinney. And we'll keep it right here until we find out exactly what's going to take place with the recognition and with head coach Todd McVay and with the McKinney Lions. And John Leidy down there on the sideline is trying to get everybody in order and find out what's going on down there. The McKinney Lions, of course, it's a strange sight being the visitors, and across the field you see this giant 500 sign right at the 50-yard line. It's huge, and what a tremendous sight that is. Across the field, the school song's playing, the kids are on the field, and this tremendous, huge 500 sign glaring. And you know, it's one of those things that we get to savor because normally they'd be on this side of the field and we wouldn't get to see those kind of things. But looking across the field and see that giant 500 win sign is just got to be a tremendous feeling.
Well, you've called a few of the wins now, but you know what? I'm going to take this time because you probably wouldn't do it publicly. You'll do it privately, but a lot of the credit for the 500 wins has to go to you, not on the field.
For me.
But we wouldn't know about it
were
it not for the hours that you spent just ignoring your wife and kid and just going through stats.
I thought you were going to talk about run blocking or something like that.
No, you have nothing to do with that.
Not the actual wins.
No. Well, you found it. Let's put it that way. This doesn't happen without you. So, you know, on behalf of the McKinney Lions, McKinney High School, just say thanks for putting in all that work over the summer because that's something that's irreplaceable.
Well, it's something that I'm so glad that I was able to finally spend the time and get into the library and get some of that research done. I've been wanting to do that for a long time. But when I got to the situation where they had 496 wins or so, and I had researched every game except 6 and verified every game, and I couldn't find 6. And then I thought, wow, what if those 6 wins would put them over 500, and we missed getting to celebrate that. But luckily,
what you're saying,
they lost some of those games in the 1920s.
You're rooting against McKinney just so you can say at the end of the game, there's 500.
Well, I was rooting against a 1928 McKinney team to lose one game, you know, so we can celebrate 86 years later. Come on.
When you root against.
Here's the presentation.
Football became an officially recognized sport by the UIL in 1920. Although McKinney had a team and numerous victories prior to that, tonight's win is the 500th victory as recognized by the UIL. McKinney Independent School District Superintendent Tom Crow, joined by Director of Athletics Keith Garringer, will make a special presentation to McKinney High School Principal Donna Roeder and McKinney's head football coach Todd McVeigh. Congratulations to all current and former McKinney High School football players and coaches.
Mrs. Roeder, it gives me great pleasure in presenting this trophy that says the 500th UIL victory for McKinney High School Lions. Coach McVeigh, this trophy says, congratulations, head coach Todd McVeigh, McKinney High School varsity football's 500th UIL victory, and it says MHX versus, and now you can put up McKinney Boyd. Congratulations.
Tom Crow, the superintendent, making the presentation to Todd McVeigh and Donna Roeder. The plaques and trophies and everything else that goes along with win number 500. John Leidy down on the sidelines right in the presentation. We'll try to talk with him in a moment. John, if you're down there, go ahead and pop on with us and tell us what is it like around those players right now.
It's very nice down here, actually. I wish I could be on the McKinney Lions football team right now to experience this.
You know, and he's a guy who was popping off at Jared Foyt a moment ago.
I'm going to go ahead and do my interview with Coach McVeigh here, and let's put the attention on him. Coach, it's got to be a joy to get that 500 victory off the shoulders and off the pressure.
Well, you know, it's great for the community and for all the people before that 499. They had a whole lot to do with that, but it's all about the kids. Kids did a great job like they always do here in McKinney, and I'm just very proud of our team tonight.
What did you think about tonight's game?
Well, you know, I thought we were a little sluggish in the first half, and I kind of got on them a little bit about picking up their tempo, and they came out the second half. And, you know, Boyd's going to have a great program. They're doing a great job. I told Coach Drake his kids never quit, and, you know, I was very pleased to get the victory in our first district win.
Ask him if he's going to be around for 600.
They want to know if you're going to be around for victory number 600.
I hope so.
Well, we hope so, too. Great to have you in the town, Coach. Congratulations.
Great to have you in the town, not just the program, but in the town. Nice one, John.
John Leidy doing a great job down there.
Guys,
yes,
we got to welcome all coaches into our town.
Yeah,
he's been here for a while, John.
That's right. That's okay.
Right, but I mean, we got to give him a little attention.
You know, he's from Schertz, Texas, down south, so maybe it takes a while to welcome him here in McKinney. And you know what? I know McKinney Lions fans are thankful that Todd McVeigh is here, and especially here to get this 500th win. He, you know, it took him a lot. I don't know. I shouldn't say that. I don't know how much it took, but he is one who recognized the tradition of this program, went back to the gold helmets, made peace, I guess, with Ron Poe. I shouldn't say made peace, but brought him back, and has had Ron Poe here several times to talk to the McKinney program. He just embraces the history, and I think you know, it's so nice to have a coach who does that and embraces the history of a program, because really they need to do that here at McKinney. With the new schools opening, they have to fall back on what they have done in the past to promote that, and it just so happens they have a tremendous past with 500 wins, as you can tell. John Leidy is going to try to get some more players, but we're going to take a quick timeout real quick. Be back in a moment. McKinney Lions win 34-0 and get their 500th win tonight on 97.5 KLAK. 34-0, the McKinney Lions win tonight over the McKinney Boyd Broncos and garner their 500th win. John Leidy down on the sidelines and has one of the players for the McKinney Lions.
Yes, I've got number 45, Josh Lane for the McKinney Lions down here. It seemed like you made every tackle tonight. How'd that feel?
It felt good just helping out the team. I just do my job and hope everyone else does theirs.
Looking forward to a great game next week. What is the key to next week's game?
The key is for everyone to play together, run the ball, wrap up on defense.
Ask him how he did with the distractions. Obviously, number 500 tonight, and then next week. Look, was he looking forward to McKinney North at all?
What kind of distractions might y'all face this week with the 500th victory, and also what is something that McKinney North, now that you got the 500 off, you can focus on them, right?
We just take it one game at a time. North's next week, so that's what we're going to focus on.
Okay, and I've also got number 22, Calvin Maxwell down here. I just have a rough statistics. You ran about 8 times for about 150 yards. How does that feel?
It feels pretty good. I give a lot of credit to my O-line. They did a good job tonight.
Right, and I'm going to ask you the same question here. Victory number 500 is off the shoulders. How does that feel?
Well, it's good that we got it, but we're more worried about 1-0 in district.
Okay, well, guys, good luck next week. Back up to y'all.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Actually, Calvin Maxwell, 10 carries for 209 yards. Over 20 yards per carry for Calvin Maxwell. A tremendous night rushing, and Brandon's going to give you all the stats here coming up in a moment. Again, 34-0. The McKinney Lions win tonight over the McKinney Boyd Broncos. Get number 500. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.